Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to this is Dr. David Snyder checking in with you. Welcome to Secrets for How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind for Health, Wealth, Success, and Happiness. How to control your mind, manifest, get rid of negative emotions, and ordain your destiny, as W. Clement Stone liked to say. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome everybody. We do have a couple administrative things that I'd like to get out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and just make my screen a little bit bigger here, so I'm make sure that I can see everything really, really well. I'm getting a little long in the tooth, so I got to make sure that I can see everybody well. So, quick question for those of you for how many of you is this your first time experiencing the madness and mayhem that is Planet David? If you're brand new, go ahead and type in the chat, I'm new. If you're a veteran, type in how long you've been with us and where you're checking in from, your name, where you're checking in from, how long you've been with us, because tonight is all about you. Tonight is about exploring the power of the magic within. But in case you're wondering, this is only half of my my background. The full title should be Unleashing the Magic Within: Hypnosis, Energy, Healing, Manifestation, and Beyond. It's a seminar that we've got coming up, a live training, where I'm going to kind of pull back the curtain on some of the most hidden and secret energetic practices from a number of traditions and how they dovetail with neuroscience, quantum physics, to create a set of practices and drills and exercises that will rapidly, to use a rather violent term, explode your level of energy, vitality, health, and wellness. It's an awesome course. We've done it once before and people absolutely loved it. In fact, they're screaming for level 2. This will be a level 1 training. And so for those of you who are interested, you can reach out to Moss and talk to you about that. That's my plug for the seminar, but I threw this together. This is actually one of our graphics for the seminar. So I thought it would be kind of cool to get some feedback on that. So first of all, let me welcome everybody who's joining us through the Zoom room. And of course, our brothers and sisters out there in YouTube land. Well, thank you so much for checking in with us. It's awful quiet in the chat. That's why. How come nobody told me I had everyone selected off? I thought I'd turn that back on. Hello, Nancy. Welcome. There's Mia. All right, they're starting to talk now. Like I had them muted before. I was wondering, why am I alone? There's Lucky Chris, Heather. All my mega coaching clients are all here. So once again, if your name did not show up in the chat, type in where you're checking in from, how long you've been in Planet David. Tonight's class is all about you. And so I hope that each and every one of you have brought some all-important tools for tonight. Your brain. Anybody here not bring their brain to tonight's training? If your brain is not here, go ahead and type that in the chat. Okay. Yes, I do have a PowerPoint presentation, but there's Zach. Zach says, hello, divine intelligence. Well, thank you for that. I don't think my wife would share that with you. My wife makes me look like a fucking idiot, but that's neither here nor there. So Peter's checking in from Pittsburgh many years ago. I remember you, Peter. If not your face, I remember your name. You've been around for a while. Stein's checking in from Norway, seeing you from the start. Very cool. Welcome. There's Philip Long, or Long Philip, as his name shows up. There's Rhiannon over there, and Carlos. And I don't know what that name is because it's written in Korean or Chinese or something like that. But whoever you are, checking in from Nevada, God bless and welcome. Heather's checking in from Boise. Very cool. Very cool. So tonight is all about how to reprogram the subconscious mind. So one of the things that I want to talk about, again, I'm going to go through the basics very, very quickly, because as I look at all the faces, it looks like all of you are pretty familiar with the madness and mayhem that is Planet David. But I will put this out there for those of you who are veterans of Planet David. If you see somebody who's brand new and is checking in with us, and they ask a question that I don't see, I do ask that you just reach out to them and give them your experience. Like if I see the question and it's not going to take us too far off track, I'm happy to answer it. I want to give you as much content as I can, as humanly possible. That being said, some of you are going to take to this like a duck to water. Some people are going to need to go through this a few times. That's okay. There will be a replay. However, you are going to want to stay today until the end of the replay. to the full length of the webinar rather, because we do have some really cool things that we've got in store for you. There's always an offer connected to all of our webinars, because I learned very, very long time ago that you never give somebody a taste of what's possible for them without giving them a way to take that training further, if that's something you want to do. That being said, tonight is not about theory, so to speak. Tonight is about giving you some powerful experiences. And along with those experiences will come techniques that you can take right out into the real world, starting today, right from this webinar, going right out into the world, and just start changing stuff for the better. We're going to give you some of the most powerful, simple and easy techniques imaginable, as well as hopefully give you a little bit of a different understanding about how your mind actually works, how the different levels of your nervous system communicate and interact with one another. And as a byproduct of that training, you're going to discover new ways to literally unlock or unleash the magic inside of you, one experience at a time. You don't have to believe. That's the best part about a lot of the technologies that we've brought to the public over the last 10 or 20 years, is that you don't need to believe a single thing that's coming out of my mouth. In fact, I ask you not to believe it. Why is that? I know. Let me be clear. You don't have to believe it, but you do have to want it, right? And we're going to talk about this push-pull that a lot of people have when it comes to manifesting or to becoming the person that deserves to have the things that they say that they want to manifest. So I am a very interactive type of an instructor, even when it's virtual like this. I thrive on interaction, so I'm gonna encourage you throughout the entire course of the webinar. And this is going to be a long webinar. I'm just going to put that up front. Most of you who've been around for a while know I don't kind of mince around, right? I do tell stories, and I do sometimes meander, but the magic is in the meandering, if that makes any kind of sense to you. So you may hear something in this webinar that you agree with. You may hear things in this webinar that you do not. My intention here is never to offend anyone, but I do tend to poke the bear. I do tend to provoke people. And the reason that we do that is partly because it's fun. You know, it's fun to make fun of ourselves and each other and not take ourselves so seriously, which is one of the most important things that we have to really kind of wrap our mind around as we get into the laws of the mind, how they work, and how your different divisions communicate with each other, right? If we don't really understand that, one of the reasons that a lot of our shit doesn't seem to go away is because we're taking ourselves too seriously. We're not in a place where we can control our state, direct our thoughts, observe the structure of our thoughts, and have the system in place, so to speak, that allows us to rapidly transform it, right? Most of my I spend a lot of time talking to my good friend ChatGTP, and I spend a lot of time having it take on different personas and different types of avatars, so that I can really understand you, right? Obviously, I've been doing this a long time, and so one of the things I want to stress with you is that there's no woo woo here. Even though this may seem like woo, it's actually not. Right? When you come to our trainings and things like that, you'll see how everything connects, and where it connects is in the power of your autonomic nervous system. We sometimes abbreviate that to ANS. Unfortunately, the phonetic ambiguity of ANS is not always the most, how should we say this, politically correct. So when we say pull things out of your ANS, you might have a different experience of that, right? Anyway, here's the deal. We're going to go as far as I can. Tonight's webinar is going to be divided up into 3 parts. We're going to talk about the principles and fundamentals for how your mind works, how it creates your problems, and everything else about your subjective experience. And we're going to show you experientially how that works, so you can begin the process of activating the power of your nervous system to start creating change. We're going to give you some very powerful, very consistent, testable things that you can go out into the world and do. Part 2 is where we're going to show you next steps. We're going to say, this is this piece, and this is how this piece goes together, and this is the whole system. So if you want access to the whole system, this is how you go about getting access to that. Then on part 3 is where things really hit the road, and what we call this the customization phase. And this is where we're going to actually pull you as a group and drill down on the exact applications that you as a cohort, as my students in this training, want to actually learn. Okay. I always have a curriculum, and anybody who's been around Planet David long enough will tell you that anytime I do a 1, 2, 3 day seminar, I have enough material for 30 days at my beck and call. So that being said, I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions. I'm going to go through what I lovingly call the Dr. David Dog and Pony Show real quick. For those of you who were wondering, I am in fact a doctor. I have 2 doctorates now. I have a doctorate in Chinese acupuncture and Chinese medicine, as well as a doctorate in Chinese energetic medicine. So if you have, what's the difference? Well, Chinese acupuncture and Chinese medicine is the post-communist trainings in traditional Chinese medicine. It's been largely sanitized of everything we would consider woo or quantum in how it operates. It's a very linear approach, acupuncture points, meridians, things of that nature. Don't get me wrong, there's still an energetic component, but it's much, much different. Chinese energetic medicine, however, is the whole picture of how these things evolved, the things they didn't teach, how it works with quantum energies, shamanics, different types of spiritual energetics and things of that nature. It's Chinese medical Qigong plus Taoist, Buddhist, and often sometimes Christian mystical trainings as well. So there's a whole bunch of energetic woo-y stuff. It's a more of a spiritual degree than anything else. But I've had a clinic in Solana Beach for the last, well, since 2005. So literally 20 years now, where my specialty has been through the modalities of Chinese medicine, energetics, hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, holographic memory resolution, Reiki, which is another form of energetics, where my specialty has been treating physiological illness that is caused by repressed emotion, which is about 9 out of 10 things that come into an acupuncturist's office or a chiropractor's office. Any kind of chronic or emotionally induced condition has been the focus of my therapeutic modalities for many, many years. For the last 6 or 7 years, probably going on 8 years, I've been named among the top 2 NLP trainers in the world by globalgurus.com. Hopefully I'll be number 1 again this year, but I've been number 2 next to the founder of NLP, Dr. Richard Bandler. I am a certified NLP trainer and practitioner. I'm a lifelong martial artist, so I've got a lot of different types of energetic training as well as understanding peak performance behind my belt. I've authored over 15 different programs on various forms of healing and human influence, everything from conversational hypnosis to vibrational hypnosis and the full spectrum. We have one of the most powerful hypnosis and hypnotherapy training programs in the world, a program that's designed to take you from 0 to hero in 5 days. And that is not a boast, that is a fact. If you don't believe me, try us out. That being said, tonight is all about you. I want to talk to you about if this is the scope of everything that there is to cover with unlocking the power of your own subconscious mind. We have time for this. So my promise to you, my commitment to you is I will take you as far down this rabbit hole as I can. I will pull back the curtain. I will try to lead you through experience after experience after experience as much as I can. And I'll point you in the direction of where to go to level up your training and your skills. Is that a fair trade? If you think that's fair, type that's fair in the chat. Cool. All right, good. All right, so let's jump in then. Let me look at my PowerPoint and make sure that I'm on track. So if you can answer yes to any of the following questions, this might be the right place for you. First and foremost, how many of you would, as a byproduct of tonight's training, would like to find themselves becoming more attractive, more charismatic, more persuasive in any situation or circumstance? Would that be something that might make your life a little easier? Because that's my job. My job is to make your life easier, right? Would that help? Type yes in the chat if that would help you. If you'd like to be to banish fear, to stop being afraid and insecure and uncertain and have more confidence and move through the world in a way that allows you to feel very comfortable, no matter what's going on around you, that allows you to kind of step in, take charge, or if you need to kind of step back, right? And just let things play out without the need to micromanage or whatever. We're going to show you how to do that. Okay. If you'd like to obviously become more magnetic and attract more money from your job, book more clients for your business. But real quick, how many therapists and healers and coaches do we have on tonight's call? Just type that's me in the chat if I'm a coach or something like that, right? How many of you would like to stop being so easily manipulated? How many have ever been on the less than positive end or the negative end of manipulation, lies, deceit, Think of it from, whether it's from a narcissist or from sociopaths or any type of other social or persuasion predators. How many of you would like to kind of lock those doors and make sure that those doors are never opened again so that people can't manipulate you? If that's true for you, type "that's for me" in the chat, because we're gonna go deep into the core programs that allow those things to happen and how you can begin the process of sealing them, right? If you like to program yourself for any kind of abundance, whether it's love, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual abundance, and have more time, energy, money to enjoy the things you truly want, go ahead and type that in the chat, because that's on the to-do list, as my Sifu would say, right? If you'd like to learn how to inspire and motivate yourself, your employees, and have them wanting to do the things that you want them to do for their own reasons, this is probably a good place for you to begin. Okay. So here's my deal. My personal promise to you tonight is, if you stay until the end of tonight's webinar, I'm going to teach you the fastest, most powerful, and direct way to reprogram your mind and body for unlimited success, health, wealth, and happiness. Okay. Ironically, the fastest way to do that is not through your mind. It's through your body. It's one of the most weird things that me as a hypnotist ever discovered. And once I did, all my stuff just accelerated. If you'd like to put a dead stop halt to procrastination, remove blocks to your success, how to get rid of negative emotions like fear and pain and other limiting beliefs, type that in the chat. It's on the list. You're going to be able to deal with it, right? If you'd like the exact steps necessary to go from interesting information to maximum transformation in minimum time, type "that's for me" in the chat, because that's where we're going, okay? By the way, I'm getting ready to brain dump on all of you. So a couple of things you're going to need for tonight. Okay. You're going to need lots of caffeinated beverages. And I'm not kidding. Okay. You're also going to need something to write with and write on. I would prefer, this is where we get a little weird, I would prefer if it was a wooden pencil and a sheet of tablet paper, or a paper tablet. Now, I know some of you like styluses, and I know some of you like having pens, and that's fine. If that's all you got, then that's all you use. But to maximize some of the vibrational stuff that goes along with the things I'm not going to be teaching you the vibrational stuff, but it will be happening in the background. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to believe in any of that woo crap you just heard me talk about, right? Because it's all about your autonomic nervous system, the place where everything meets, where quantum physics and quantum mechanics and ancient spiritual practices and modern bioenergetics and sports performance and all the coaching systems out there, personality profiling, behavior profiling, the place where all of these things meet is in one place. That's in your autonomic nervous system. There is no form of human endeavor that is not mediated, managed, and expressed through the autonomic nervous system. And once you understand that principle and you gain dominion over this, right? You gain dominion over the autonomic aspect of your system, and you understand how it communicates, there is not much you can't do. And you can take that as a claim if you want. Don't believe me, test it, okay? But there are rules and principles that your autonomic system utilizes to create your experience of everything. Whether it's a positive experience or a less than positive experience, your neurology creates them the same way. So as we go through this training, you don't need to believe it. You just have to participate and actually have the experience, okay? That's all I ask. Have fun with it, okay? Fun is going to be a huge therapeutic factor, an alchemical factor in tonight's training, okay? So if you stay on till the end of tonight's webinar, I'm going to teach you the two most important factors you need for success right off the bat. I'm going to teach you about the rules of the mind, the ones they didn't tell you about in psychology school, the ones they didn't teach you about on YouTube, the ones they didn't teach you about in The Secret. I'm going to teach you something that some very powerful principles of the mind that we as hypnotists and some neurolinguistic programmers have understood for many, many years, but nobody really talks about, and how they interact with it, and they regulate everything. I'm going to teach you something called body-centered energy psychology. I'm going to show you why the fastest, most powerful way to change any thought, feeling, memory, trauma, or behavior is not through the mind, it's through the body. Or to be more precise, the integration of the body with the mind. Okay? We call this how your system really works. Okay? I'm going to show you how to use that same set of systems together to program your future and clear your past. Okay? When all is said and done, by the end of tonight's webinar, you will have the path to taking complete control of your life, to get the life you want the way that you want it, and master yourself inside and out starting today. So let's talk about, I'm going to jump to my PowerPoint, and I want to talk to you about something that is really, really important before I do. So write this down. There's a couple of things that I want some principles I want you to write down. The first one is this. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. That's it. The sum total of every form of human endeavor will grow from that. People see something, they see something they desire, the body generates a feeling, and they generate all the thoughts, memories, rationalizations, whatever, to achieve that thing. A person sees a social condition or something that makes them feel bad, right? And they do one of two things. They either run away from it because it feels bad, or they say that needs to change because it makes them feel bad, and they start generating the behaviors that cause them to take the actions to make that thing go away. At the end of the day, when we look at something, our body generates a feeling. That feeling is what starts that whole domino effect of manifestation, right? Now, when we talk about manifestation, we're not necessarily talking about ishkabibble, poof, and all of a sudden a pot of gold appears, right? We're talking about the behaviors, the identity, the belief systems, the actions that we take in the physical universe that cause things to go our way. And that's what this class is about tonight. Okay? So the first thing I want you to understand, everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. Are we good with that? Is that useful? This means yes, this means no. Since I can't see you nod, you have to type it in the chat. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to get out a piece of paper. And I want you to write down 2 sets of 3 things. Let me repeat that. 2 sets of 3 things. The first thing is the top 3 things you want to get rid of tonight. Top 3 things you want to clear up tonight. Write that down, and when you've written that down, top 3 things you want to clear up tonight, type done in the chat. It's okay, I'll wait. I shouldn't say that. YouTube will probably ding me for copyright infringement or something. All right, great. So people it's starting to trickle in. Good. So you've got 3 things that you want to change. Yes? As you look at them, I want you to rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. How bad do you want to get rid of those? Just put a number next to it. When you've done that, type it in the chat. Okay. You don't have to type it. No, you don't have to type it in the chat. Just type done in the chat. I don't need the number, right? Because I'm doing the speed version of this. We do a much deeper treatment of this in the live events and stuff like that and in your programs. Simple Rick says, tell me more about the ishkabibble and the pot of gold. You have to wait for that, boyo. Perfect. Okay. So below that, I want you to write 3 things that, as you look at that list of things you want to get rid of, I'm going to ask you a magic question, and you should probably write this question down because there might be more to it than I'm telling you about right now. What do I want instead? I'm going to repeat that 2 more times so you have time to write it down. Below the 3 things you want to get rid of, I want you to write down, what do I want instead? So for entry 1 of the thing you want to get rid of, what do I want instead? For entry 2 of the thing you want to get rid of, what do I want instead? For entry 3 of the thing you want to get rid of, what do I want instead? When you're done, when you've written that, type done. Perfect. You guys are rocking this, right? Is this better than a PowerPoint? I hate PowerPoints. I really do. Lucky says done. Dominic says done. Mies Living says done. Clowney says done. Steven says done. Taylor says done. Simple Rick says done. Nancy says done. Jody says done. Peter's done. Yay. Okay. So if you've followed my instructions now, which is the number 2 thing, everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want less of. You don't need to believe anything I say. You just got to follow the instructions. If you can follow the instructions with the right attitude, you can get any change you want. So as you look at what you want instead, when you look at it, how does it make you feel? Yes, I am asking for input and feedback. Excited. Excellent. Below that, those 2 things you just done. So your first entry on your sheet is top 3 things I want to get rid of tonight. Okay. Second is, what do I want instead? Below that, I want you to write one more question. What might that be like? Okay, I'm going to repeat it 3 more times. What might that be like? Last time with feeling. What might that be like? Okay, so you should have 3 one-page, 3 sections. What do I want to get rid of? What do I want instead? What might that be like? How many of you have done that? Cool. Now, last question. You guys ready? Now, make sure, by the way, when you write what might that be like, give yourself some space. So you have room to fill stuff in, right? Doesn't need to be a lot of space, but give yourself some space so you can jot notes or whatever, okay? So if we go by the whole format that we're working on tonight, what do I want to get rid of tonight? What do I want instead? What might that be like? What's important about that? So watch again. What do I want to get rid of? What do I want instead? What might that be like? What's important about that? Should be 4 questions. Your page should be divided into 4 sections. When you're done, type done. Actually, do this. Type D4 in the chat so I know that all 4 steps are done. Cool. Jorgen's with me? Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to go really quick with some principles. And what we're going to do in part 3 of tonight's webinar, whatever we don't clear in part 1, we're going to finish in part 2. And we're going to install into your brain, into your body, into your field, all the things you want instead. Would that be okay? This means yes. Bring it on. Nancy says, bring it on. Very cool. Okay. So, because it's important when we're doing this, one of the first things I teach all of my students when they come to class, whether it's the Killer Influence class, which, by the way, Killer Influence and its derivative courses like Attraction Mastery and Defense Against the Dark Arts have been named the #1 NLP training programs in the world for the last 4 years. I'm hoping to make it 5, but our programs are like rated top amongst our peers. So this information is drawn from that body of knowledge. This is really powerful. Okay. But let me tell you about the entire system, because this is one tiny piece of a very big system. But before we do that, I'm going to run through this really quick, and then we're going to come back. We're going to clear some stuff. We're going to talk about the rules of the mind. We're going to look at ways to get access to all the things that that are available to you, right? So let's start with everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's a feeling they either want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. As you look at the first entry on your sheet, on a scale of 0 to 10, What's the number? Look at each number, pick the lowest one first. So most of you have ranked, I started with your 10s and your 8s and your 7s and your 6s. Find the lowest one first. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about one of the most powerful, most important aspects of working with your other than conscious mind, your autonomic nervous system. And that is integration of the different divisions. To do that, we need to talk about several things. We need to talk about the imagination. We need to talk about the physical body, and we need to talk about the breath. Now, there's two aspects to success that everybody needs in order to manifest or become the person they want to be. The first is you need a set of beliefs, an identity that supports that. One of my mentors used to say that you can have or be or do anything you want in this life without, as long as you're willing to become the person who deserves to have it. Okay. So does your belief system support you? Right. Well, even if it doesn't, we're going to show you how to change that. Okay. But there's two kinds of beliefs that we have. There's beliefs we know about, and there's beliefs we don't. In part 3, I'm going to show you how to unlock the beliefs you didn't know you have so you can start changing them. Okay. We call this the anchor in the jet engine. Right. So let me explain that. Most people go through life with the equivalent of a jet engine or an anchor strapped to their back. Now, most people are just trying to get more motivated. They're trying to get more juice. They're trying to get more passion. They're trying to just muscle their way through, right? They're riding on that adrenaline. And that's what we call the jet engine. You go to someone like Robbins, who's going to motivate you for 3 or 4 solid days. You come out on fire. And you do. He's a master of guiding you through states that just fire you up and move you forward. Unfortunately, motivation tends to wear off. Why does it wear off? Well, because it's based on temporary things. Okay. The other thing is that you didn't clear up the negativity. You didn't clear up the things that are limiting you. They're saying you can't do it. So you have to bring up your willpower to overcome those things. Okay. Willpower is the junk candy of the mind. Okay. In fact, the less willpower you have, the more successful you tend to be. That's very weird. I know it's very contradictory, right? It's the imagination that you need to tap into, because it's the imagination that generates everything else. I've been a hypnotist for going on 40 years now. I've been a hypnotist literally since I was 12 years old. Okay. And one of the most important things that I learned at a very early age with classical hypnosis is this one concept. And this is a concept that you need to understand. This is one of the hidden laws of mental dynamics that most people don't get. When the imagination and willpower are in conflict, imagination wins every single time. Let me say that 2 more times. When the willpower and imagination are in conflict, willpower wins every single time. Okay, in the long run. You can will yourself to do something in the moment, but you're going to pay the price for it later on. Why is that? Because willpower is a finite resource. If you're familiar with willpower depletion theory by Dr. Roy Baumeister, he'll tell you that your ability to generate will is largely dependent on how much sleep you've had and how much glucose is in your system. And the faster you burn through those 2 things, the more rapidly you default to unconscious programming. So if you've got a nervous system that's just packed full of negativity and reasons why you can't, and negative dialogue and negative self-talk and things of that nature, the moment you stop consciously focusing on what you want, the more those programs kick in automatically. And you need to summon up more willpower to overcome it. Does that make sense? So the first thing that has to happen is we have to look at willpower as kind of like plan B, right? When everything else is not working and I just need to muscle through it, then that's what I do. Now, I'm a big believer in relentlessness, okay? But I believe in intelligent relentlessness, understanding how do I optimize the system. So here's the principle I want you to embrace. When the imagination and the willpower are in conflict, imagination wins. Your imagination doesn't take up energy as you understand it. You need more. It's got a massive reservoir of energy to it. And fortunately for you, that's also your pathway to everything else, right? So Imagination wins. So here's something I want to talk to you about. One of the things I want to share with you is how do you actually talk to the part of your mind, or communicate is probably a better way to say it. How do you communicate with the part of your mind that actually controls your imagination? How do you communicate with the part of you that controls your heart rate, your breathing, your blood pressure? Well, you use your imagination, you get in touch with your imagination. Okay. So, but when the conscious mind talks to you, it talks to you in words, it talks to you in a voice, so to speak. When your other than conscious mind talks to you, it speaks in the language of sensation. It speaks in feelings and visuals and kinesthetics and sound, not necessarily words, but the tones and the volumes of the words actually have more impact and come from a deeper level of your subconscious mind or your autonomic nervous system than any other part. And if you learn that language, we call that the primary encoding system, then you can go in and you can find literally how your neurology created a belief or a trauma or a fantasy or a daydream, and you can tell it what to do instead. You can tell it exactly what to do and what not to do. You can create a vibrational field and a series of new neurological connections in your brain that reprogram your reticular activating system, so you perceive the world through a completely different set of lenses, and that causes your autonomic nervous system to bring in opportunities for you that were always there, but because of the belief system and the identity you were moving through the world in, you couldn't perceive. Right? How many people have ever heard me talk about the 6 characteristics of lucky people? Has anybody ever heard me talk about this? Okay, so if you've watched movies like The Secret or anything by Dr. Joe or Neville Goddard, well, I don't know if Neville Goddard ever talked about it, but we all or John Assaraf talks about this too. If you've ever heard of the reticular activating system, reticular activating system is a part of your brain that determines what you pay attention to and what you ignore. It's largely influenced by your belief systems, your sense of identity and self-esteem, and the body feelings that you have at any given moment. As those body feelings shift, your perception of reality, your consciousness literally shifts. Okay, so everything starts to come together at this autonomic level. So let's start to put this together. Let's have an experience really, really quickly. Okay, and this is where we're going to talk about state control. The ability to control your state at any given moment is the master key for getting in touch with your autonomic nervous system. Now, the way we do this is primarily through an aspect called posture and breathing. We call it physiological state control. For every psycho-emotional state that you can imagine or conceive of or experience, there is a physiology and breathing posture, a physical posture that you stand in or sit in, and a way that you breathe that allows that feeling to manifest. Now, I have a whole 2-day training just on that for my influence and manifestation students. We don't have time to do that, obviously, so I'm going to give you a really quick experience. So for this process, what I want you to do now, by the way, if you're driving, and I know some of you are, if you're operating any form of heavy equipment or heavy machinery, don't do this exercise. A lot of the content in this webinar involves altering your consciousness. It involves you connecting your imagination, your intention, your breath, and your physical body into a very systematic, cohesive way. So trust me, if you're driving, this is not the time to be doing this, right? If you're operating machinery or anything, any activity that involves your complete and undivided attention, even if it doesn't, but you'd be distracted, we don't want you to do this exercise now. Catch the replay and go through it when you're safe. Now, if you really want to have the experience, which we're going to have, right? Because again, I've talked a lot. Now it's time to actually experience transformation, right? If you want to have this experience, then what I want you to do is I want you to find a safe, if you're driving, find a safe place to pull over, put the car in park, turn off the engine, put on the parking brake, make sure your vehicle is safe and you will not be disturbed, okay? If you're at home, put the pets outside, close the door, turn off your phone unless you're using your phone to watch this webinar, right? And what I want you now, as we go through this process, I'm going to be, in many cases, I'm going to be speaking rhetorically to you. you at no time are you to type anything in the chat until I ask you to type something in the chat. Does that make sense? Type in the chat if you understand what I just asked you to do. Perfect. Right. All the people in my Zoom room are like, yeah, we know what's coming, Dr. D. All right. For those of you out in YouTube land, hold on to your butts. This is going to get fun. Alana says I'm parked. Very good, Alana. Well done. All right. So I would prefer if you stand for this, but it's not 100% necessary. So if you see parts of me disappear, it means I've worked backwards through my wonderful little backdrop. But I want you guys to stand up, feet shoulder width apart. Now, if you can't stand, then sit with your spine straight, your tailbone tucked, sit on the edge of your chair. I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. And remember a time in your life when you felt the most amazing, thrilling, fulfilling, all-encompassing, satisfying pleasure ever. And yes, you can do that if it's what makes you happy. I'm not the pleasure police. I don't care. I don't care who you were with, how many state lines you crossed, what substances were involved. Not my monkey, not my circus. All I care about is that when you remember the most pleasurable experience ever, when you're in that place and you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get, a feeling of absolute pleasure. And I'd like you to notice, I'd like you to become aware that there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, notice where you feel that, and point to it. I want you to, as you feel it, I want you to stand the way you were standing when that amazing pleasure hit you for the first time. I want you to breathe the way you were breathing when that pleasure was surging and pulsing and vibrating all throughout your body, making your heart sing. It can be the most profound romantic or spiritual experience you've ever had. It could be a pleasure as simple as biting into a freshly baked chocolate chip cookie. I don't care what the pleasure is. I don't care who you were doing or what you were with. All I care about is that when you go back into that feeling and you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get, a feeling that lets you know you're having the best time ever. And there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Notice where it is, and notice as you look at it with your inner eyes, as you look into that place where those amazing feelings start, that there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings. What color or colors might that be for you, first impression? Whatever it is, just know what it is. And imagine a brilliant ball of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and changes with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That amazing ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill your entire being from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of pleasure, a cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all less than pleasurable experiences, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything you most needs in an infinite, ever expanding and unlimited supply. When you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors through your being once again and just dissolve into it. Dissolve into it. Now, as you do that, I'm going to ask you another question. If there was a picture floating somewhere in the space around you that represented that amazing, wonderful experience, a picture you could reach out and touch, While touching the place in your body where that feeling started from, take your other hand and reach out and touch that picture. First impression. Trace the outline of it now with both of your hands so you know how big it is. And let's make sure we've got the right one. Grab the edges of it with both of your hands. And like you'd expand the window on your tablet or your touchscreen or your iPhone, make the picture really big. Expand it to fill the room. Notice what happens to the feelings in your body. Do they get stronger or do they get weaker? However your body does it, it doesn't matter. Now bring that picture back to its original size and location. Keep the picture exactly the same size. Now, holding it in your hands, keeping the picture exactly the same size, slowly pull it closer to your body and notice what happens to the feelings in your body. Do they get stronger or do they get weaker? When you know you've got that, go ahead and push it back to its original space. Lift it up over your head. Pull it down around you like a big blanket. As you pull it down around you like a big blanket, what happened to the feelings now? Did they get stronger? Did they get weaker? Did your perspective on those things change? Whatever happened is okay. That's how your system does it. Now, once you've done that, you can have these feelings back in whatever way you want. But for the sake of our drill, I want you to unwrap those feelings, lift them back up over your head. Now, most of you know what a Frisbee is, or something that is similar to a Frisbee where you come from. I want you to imagine this thing is now shaped like a Frisbee. And I want you to throw that Frisbee whoosh, all the way behind you, back behind the horizon, to see it sink down below the horizon till it disappears completely from your mind, your body, and your spirit. When you know it's done, it's blocked, it's gone down there behind the horizon, scan your body and notice what's changed. Scan your body, notice what's changed. When you notice the change, lift your hands back up and imagine now that your hands are the most powerful Frisbee magnets in the universe and suck that good feeling right back into your hands. And as you hold that frame above your head, I'm going to teach you the most important and most empowering thing you will ever hear today, maybe for the rest of your life. Inside your mind, body, and soul, you are the god or goddess of your reality. You are the king or queen of your universe. And you have every right, privilege, and authority to make any change that you want for any reason that you want. And I'd like you to play with that power you have right now. I'd like you to take this picture that you're holding and I want you to play with it. I want you to make it bigger, make it smaller, move it up, move it down, move it in your body, move it outside your body, move it around your body. Notice how every time you move that picture, you change the size, shape, and location, the feeling, the quality of that feeling, the intensity of that feeling grows stronger and stronger and changes however it needs to change with each change that you make. And I want you to keep playing with it. I want you to keep playing with it until you find the exact size, shape, and location that gives you the exact feeling that you want to have, the exact intensity level that you want to have it. When you find that feeling, fix it into place. And notice how the energy from that picture flows from the picture to your heart, from your heart to your bloodstream, from your bloodstream. Every place your blood flows, those feelings go into every nerve and every cell and every atom, into the very DNA of those cells, changing, transforming, reprogramming, turning each and every cell of your body into a powerful, perpetual pleasure factory. Each cell of your body generating more and more and more of those amazing feelings in an infinite, ever expanding, and unlimited supply. There's no need to measure it or manage it or make it happen faster. Just notice that process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. And when you know it's locked in, impossible to change or transform, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to take it away. Try to imagine some other mofo out in the real world trying to take that away. And notice what happens instead. Now, when you're satisfied, you're ready for more, you're ready to go further, before you open your eyes, stop testing. Allow your eyes to open. And notice how good you feel. And when you're finally back, type into the chat what you just experienced, what just happened. Zach says, amazing. This is a pretty good way to start the day, huh? Peter says, peace. Logan says, gratitude. Excellent. The power of imagination can change the way you feel and think. Yes, yes. Dylan says, that was gold. Maddie says, I literally didn't feel anything. Oh, we can fix that, Maddie. You might need to call us, though. Dylan says, rich, haha. Okay. Feels really good and anchored in. Yes. Okay. Now, I could spend literally the next 3.5 to 4 hours just talking about all the neuroscience behind what we just did. Okay. For those of you who didn't feel something, chances are, A, you weren't following instructions, or B, you've got some extra dissociation in there. There is a technique for breaking through that, but I wouldn't recommend doing it unless I'm in the room with you, or one of my people is in the room with you, or you don't, you have other types of support. Okay, so Clowney says, I feel heavenly. Adriana says, relieved. David Orman says, life-altering. Yo Charlie says, I'm still there. Yeah, you will be, right? For those of you who maybe, I'm just going to say this, you do this at your own risk. I will not take any responsibility for the flood of emotions that you start to feel. If you're having trouble feeling something, usually it's because you're not allowing yourself to feel it. And that means that your neurology has installed an extra layer of insulation between your proprioceptive grid out here, your proprioceptive awareness, and your interoceptive awareness. So what you do is you trace the outline of the picture, you grab it, you slam it into the spot where the feeling should be, and you pull it out. You slam it in and you pull it out, and you keep doing that until the stagnation breaks up and the two divisions start communicating again. There's a video on my YouTube channel. It's from like 2014, where I was teaching a meetup in Florida, and I had a lady that needed that, and she wound up abreacting right in the middle of the room. We had to do some stuff to fix her, but yeah. Maddie says, I definitely struggle with dissociation. And by the way, dissociation does not mean you're broken. Okay, none of you are broken. It's just your nervous system's been doing things pretty much on autopilot, and you haven't had the access to the operating system, the username and password, or the owner's manual. What I just gave you with point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, that's the username and password. Let me repeat that for those of you to use a more modern technological metaphor. When you point to where you feel it and you reach out and touch it, you just access the username and password to the dashboard that allows you to change everything. Simple Rick says, I got a tingle in my big toe. Is that normal? Could be. Here's the thing you need to understand. Your unconscious mind, your autonomic nervous system, communicates in the language of sensation. It does not communicate in words. It doesn't speak French. It doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak Hindi. It doesn't speak Farsi. It doesn't speak Japanese. It speaks what we call the primary encoding system, right? It's visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. The problem that we have from a neurolinguistic perspective is people think they're visuals, and they think they're auditories, and they think they're kinesthetics and olfactory and gustatory. Here's the bottom line behind all that crap, and it's not crap, but it's not useful for what we need to do. All of you are kinesthetics, because no matter what sequence of the brain you use to get to the behavior part, okay, what's important is every one of those visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory strategies that NLP lifestyle results in you having a body feeling and then an external behavior. In other words, kinesthetic internal, kinesthetic external. And that's what stimulates and generates your behavior. Every time you have a body feeling, it triggers a bunch of different neurological processes that cause you to behave in a very predictable way. So Chris is saying, where can I find the replay? I love your shit. It'll be on the YouTube channel under the live stream section. Okay. But you might want to hang out because there is some limited time stuff that we're going to make an offer shortly that will allow you to really get the biggest bang for your buck. So I was just starting to feel something. All right. Clavor, did you come in late by any chance? Because I literally, and again, I'm not picking on you, but I literally said, make sure the door is locked, the phone is off, the pets are out of the room, right? Right. So, and you know what? I'm gonna shout out real quick to my YouTubers. Dominic, thank you so much for reaching out to Maddie that way. The idea is we all start off with things we can do really, really fast and things that we have to work up to, right? And so the idea behind this is it doesn't really matter how long it takes you. Now, we specialize in very direct, very no BS rapid change, but some people have certain things that they have to work through. And you know, not everybody can have a home run. It's a base hit, but you're all capable of it, right? So I just want to know, one of the things I love about our community is how supportive everybody is of each other and how they reach out and they support each other. So I'm really proud of you guys for that. So thank you. That being said, what happened when you tried to make it go away? For those of you who experienced this, what happened? How rapidly did your state change? Eduardo said pretty instant, right? Chris said slowly. Okay. Anybody else? Fast? Okay, good. Good. Okay, so what you just did, Dylan says stuck. I don't know what stuck means, Dylan. Namisha says this is our tribe of cool people. Adriana says it changed quite fast. Yeah, for most people, it's pretty rapid. Right? Namisha says 1 second. By the way, if it took you 2 minutes to change your feelings, how many of you have ever tried all for hours on end to change your feelings and you couldn't do it? Compared to those, is it still fast? Right? It's all relative. Right? But here's the secret to this. In that drill, we integrated your intention, your imagination, your physical body, all the divisions of your nervous system, and your imagination. Okay? And we linked them all together using a language every part of you understands. And that's why the change was so fast. You know, the one thing we didn't use was willpower, right? Chances are, if some of you found yourself blocked, it was because you were trying to will yourself to feel a certain thing, right? Willpower actually blocks imagination sometimes. But willpower and imagination they have this love-hate relationship. All right. And I'm not going to get too far into that. So one of the things that has to happen is you have to have an identity that supports your ability to become the person you want to be. And that manifests as, and there's two, and that brings us to the second piece that everybody who wants to have to manifest reality needs to do, is they need to take action. They need to be able to take fast, decisive action to embody the things that they want. Now, there's two reasons that people don't take action. They don't want to, or they don't want to. What? David, you just repeated yourself. They don't want to, or they don't want to. The question is why? Why don't they want to? How many of you have ever suffered from procrastination? Anybody? Or just you're more afraid to have something than you want it. Well, congratulations. There's two reasons people procrastinate. They're either afraid of something or they don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to do something. So that manifests from an inability to take action as Eduardo says, is this a form of advanced willpower? No, it's actually much higher than willpower. Okay. Is will involved? Yes, but it's not an overabundance of will. It's not what the Hermetics call the lust for results, the trying to much. Anytime you perceive effort in thinking about something, you're engaging too much will. This is one of the things that we need to understand if we're going to go further and further into reprogramming the unconscious mind, which brings us to the second law of mental dynamics that I want to talk about. First one I gave you was when the imagination and the willpower are in conflict, the imagination always wins. Take it to the bank. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. The third one is, what was I just talking about? I just open loop myself. The law of unconscious response. In classical hypnosis, and classical hypnosis is like the great granddaddy of all the other personal transformation systems out there. So you need to understand it. Classical hypnosis and hypnotherapy has stood the test of time. It's a real fucking thing. Now, we have a very modern approach to hypnosis, but I want you to understand, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, right? I literally, guys like Dave Ellman and Milton Erickson and Richard Bandler and Mike Mandel and Richard Nongard and a lot of these old, Bernheim and all these other famous hypnotists, right? When the law of unconscious response tells us that the more we try to consciously intend or will something to happen, the more deeply and rapidly the unconscious mind either steps back and does nothing or generates the opposite of what we want. Let me say that a couple more times. The law of unconscious response teaches us that anytime we try to will the unconscious mind to do something consciously, the unconscious mind steps back and does nothing, or it does the opposite of what we want. Now, how do I know this? How many of you have ever had trouble falling asleep? Just type it in the chat. How many of you ever had trouble falling asleep? Last night, Lucky says, right? How many of you tried to will yourself to go to sleep? How many of you tried to will yourself to go to sleep? How'd that work? How'd that work? How many of you have ever tried to do like some of these weird mind games where you raise and lower blood pressure? How many of you have ever tried to will your blood pressure to get lower? How'd that work? So here's the secret. The way you bypass the blockages of the critical faculty, the neocortex, is through the body and through the imagination. When the body and the imagination are synced up and harmonized in the right direction, it does not matter what your conscious mind wants to believe. I'm going to say that 2 more times. I just dropped an A-bomb here. When your body feelings and your imagination are synchronized, it does not matter what your conscious mind wants to believe. Okay? This is why I didn't ask you to tell me what it was like or to will yourself to have an experience. I had you remember the experience. I had you to just relive the experience and generate the feelings. By the way, just for grins and giggles, when I asked you to point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it. Did you guys find a picture? Type in the chat, yes or yes. And what happened when you made the picture bigger? Now, a lot of people who do this, automatically the feeling gets stronger. Some people, when you make the picture bigger, the feeling gets weaker. That's okay. All right, we call people who are expanders. When you expand the picture, it gets stronger. And when we make it smaller, it gets stronger. We call them concentrators. Right? Now, did I tell you to do that? Or did your brain just do it? Actually, it wasn't your brain, it was your autonomic nervous system. Okay? There's levels to your nervous system that have a huge amount of intelligence and control over everything else. But until you can log in, point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, you don't have the username and password. You can't get to the dashboard. Okay? I gave you the username and password. If you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. Okay? Keaton says, I hope I pronounced that right. I was in the picture when you made it bigger. Yes. Some of you, when you make the picture bigger, you'll go from watching yourself in the picture to just snapping right into it, right? Why? Because you're communicating now in the language of the autonomic nervous system. in the part of you that controls your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your fantasies, your daydreams, your traumas. You're speaking that language at the right level. And if you keep speaking that language, you will unlock literal magic in your nervous system. Because everything that's been holding you back, everything that's been limiting you or making you feel bad in any way, shape, or form was built using the system you just accessed. It just happened outside of your conscious awareness and outside of your conscious control. That changes today if you're willing to be trained, if you're willing to learn. Shine says, what if you don't feel it in your physical body? Pretend that you do. That's a great question. Some people, especially when I work with people with dissociative identity disorder or extreme levels of dissociation, a lot of times you'll ask them where they feel it, and they'll say, I don't feel anything. Well, pretend you did. Where would you feel it? They make something up. Guess what? Works just as well. Why? Because the part of you that controls your fantasies, that controls your body feelings, that controls your imagination, that controls your traumas, that controls your long-term memories, is also the part that makes things up. It's the part that plays pretend. And that's why if you can be as a little child, just like the Bible says, be as little children and play with your imagination. Get your body involved. The magic is unleashed. Does that make, even if it doesn't make sense, that's how it works. Okay. But some people, you have them point to where they feel it, and they feel something, but they say, well, I feel it out here. That's okay. They can point to it. They can change it. What you'll notice with people who have, this is for coaches and therapists out there. What you'll notice if you start applying these methodologies in your treatment room with clients who have strong levels of dissociation, as you start to peel back and dissolve the layers of trauma, the feeling that they've projected out here will start to migrate towards the core of the body. You'll notice it'll just start to happen. Okay. Don't believe me. Test it. For those of you who are therapists and clients, go into the treatment room, work these principles. If you need more training, call us. We'll show you how to do that. But take these principles into your treatment room and test them. Don't believe what I say. Test it. Right? Most hypnotists fail because they don't test. And most hypnotists don't test because they're afraid to fail. We test everything all the time. I had you test yourself several times in that one exercise. Right? Now, Alana says, I love this technique. Well, guess what? You're going to love it even more in about 5-10 minutes. Okay? Because what I just gave you is the Rosetta Stone of unlocking the power of your nervous system. If you're willing to play. Hear what I said? If you're willing to play. How many of you, when you made the picture bigger, it got stronger? When you made the picture smaller, it got smaller? What happened when you wrapped it around you? What happened when you wrapped the picture around you? Type it in the chat. Even stronger. Actually, Zach, you said something really interesting. Makes total sense. We are a projection of a projection of the soul. That's actually more true than not, but this is not the seminar for that. Eduardo says, I was in it. Jody says, tingly and happy, felt cozy. Rhino God 32 says, how can we test new techniques we created? Very simple. Remember, one of the core things, again, I could spend like literally a day and a half just teaching you the neuroscience and all the different things that went into the little technique we did. But here's the bottom line for Rhino. The moment I point to where I feel it, I've tapped into the interoceptive nervous system of my body. The moment I reach out and touch it, I've tapped into the proprioceptive or external division of my nervous system. I'm using hands to do it, which lights up the right brain and the left brain. Okay. I'm also seeing, I'm also hearing, I'm also smelling, and I'm also tasting. So all the cortexes of the brain light up too, towards one thing with one goal. And all of a sudden, everything in the system lines up and the change happens. Try to go back to feeling the original way and notice what happens instead. Notice what happens, right? If you take the drill I just gave you and you play with it every day, you play with it for 5 or 10 minutes in the morning. You play with it for 5 or 10 minutes at lunch. You play with it for 5 or 10 minutes before you go to bed. You will systematically unlock the neuroplasticity inherent in your mind and body. You will create deeper and deeper levels of connection to every one of those systems I've just mentioned, and you will have more and more control over them. Now, again, that's to us, that, to my students and stuff like that, this is what you just got is more advanced than what 99.999999999% of the people ever learn. And it's just our baby stuff. Okay. Don't believe me, test it. Okay. You don't got to believe it. You just got to do it. Okay. But one of the reasons I started with pleasure was because pleasure can be a panacea. What does that mean? A lot of you know that I've been a licensed acupuncturist. I've been seeing clients for physiological illness that is caused by repressed emotion since 2005. Okay. I've dealt with every form of trauma and abuse, from child molestation, active shooters, complex post-traumatic stress, war trauma, domestic, you name it. Okay. Cult abuse. I've dealt with all of it. And one of the problems that you have a lot of times is those clients have never, ever felt safe. And so if you ask them to remember a time when they felt safe, they can't do it. They have a huge amount of psycho-emotional resistance to going into safety. But almost nobody resists pleasure. And they have an uncounted number of pleasure resources that they can tap into. And pleasure is very, 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 very close to the element or the experience of safety. And so we can start by generating this massive, massive pleasure state in us. Now, another reason why we use pleasure. Just by a quick show of hands, can we use this for sleep? Yes, Suma, you can. 100%. 100%. How many of you, hold on there, someone just typed a freaking, okay. Someone just typed a War and Peace in my chat over here. So here's a secret. I got open looped. What was I just talking about? This is one of the reasons I sometimes don't like to look at the chats, because I get distracted. What was the last thing I was saying before I talked about the War and Peace? Oh, how many people here know how many repetitions you have to go through to build a new neurological circuit in your brain? How many times do you have to go through something? No, not how many days, how many repetitions? How many times do you have to repeat something to create the neurological circuit and then wire it in? One time. 7. All right. So Heather is one of my mega students, and she's got a lot of neuroscience, but she's going further. She knows it's a trick question. So she's giving me a different answer, right? For most people, to learn a new skill takes about 5 to 10,000 repetitions. If you're serious and you work hard and you do the repetitions over and over and over and over again. Okay. If you're having fun and you gamify it and you're playful with it, it takes you, what Heather said. She says 3 to 7. Other studies say 12. So let me ask you a question. What would you rather do? 10,000 reps of something that sucks, or 3 to 12 repetitions of something that's awesome to get the same level of skill? Which would you rather do? Because they both work. Which is more efficient? Which is more fun? Which is more effective? This is why we gave you pleasure first. Because if we can saturate the body with pleasure, we create the ideal conditions in the body for deep level permanent change in a fraction, a decimal point of the time. Right? If you've ever read the book Master, what does it say? 20 to 30,000 repetitions to be a master? Right? This is how you hack it. Is that useful, by the way? Is that useful? I think so. Now, I got to be honest. I have to give credit where credit's due. One of my very first martial arts teachers, Grandmaster Remy Presas, founder of an art called Modern Arnis, when I was studying with him back in my early 20s, he would demand that everybody who's training in Arnis have a smile on their face. He would say, "Smile, and you will be happy, and you will learn, and you will be happy." And he was a genius, right? Because he knew, even back then, he knew that if you were training and you were having fun and you were experiencing pleasure in what you're doing, you were going to your nervous system was going to grab a hold of that stuff faster and deeper than if you try to serious your way through it. Okay. Right now, some of us need a little help in rehearsing pleasure, and that's okay, because you got the frame game. The frame game is point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, right? You'll notice when you move the picture around, the feelings changed, yes? How many notice when you started moving the picture around, the qualities and the intensity of the feelings changed? Yes or yes? Okay. So what literally happened for you was you took a memory, right? Turned it into a color, connected it to a picture, and then you decided exactly how you wanted it to feel. And you fixed it into that spot. You let the energy come into your body, to your heart, to your bloodstream, and you spread it through your system. Isn't that what you did? And what happened? Try to turn that state off and notice what happens instead. Okay. Okay. So, how many of you would like to take this further? Okay, cool. So, at the beginning of today's training, I teased you a little bit about learning about the whole system. And that whole system is called the Identity by Design system. I'm going to show it to you really quick, and then we're going to talk about. So, the technique you just learned, we teach right about here. Oops, that's not the sharing I wanted. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, let me go ahead and do this. For some reason, I'm gonna skim through this really quick, and then I'm gonna show you how to get access to the complete system. So the technique you just learned, we teach right about here. Okay, so we're gonna in the Identity by Design system, we teach you how to go into alter your state at will. In other words, we give you the username and password. We give you the username and password. Then we teach you how to clear out the negativity that's locked in your body that you didn't even know was there. How to remove specialized negativity. This is all the secret reasons your nervous system has for holding on to stuff. If you've ever dated somebody, if you've ever dated different people, the same person with a different face over and over and over again, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had familiar feelings in unfamiliar situations and circumstances, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever made the same mistake in the same situations over and over and over again, even though you knew better, this is the area we're talking about. If you've ever noticed that you just can't seem to feel good, we're going to teach you how to install the most powerful positive states imaginable so they become your default, so that your reticular activating system is always moving through the world, sorting for the opportunities. For those of you who've ever had that shitty voice in your head, you know what voice I'm talking about? The one that just said, what voice? We're going to teach you how to systematically change that dialogue so that it becomes your most powerful mentor, guide, and cheerleader. Okay. From there, we're going to take this entire process and we're going to systematically remove all the negativity from your past. And we're going to take all the energy out of it, move all that energy into all of your positive memories, and make all of those memories bigger and stronger so that when you remember the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better. We take this entire sequence of processes and we install it at the, oops, sorry, I keep clicking on that. We install it at the genetic level as a template in your DNA that causes your nervous system to automatically apply all of those processes to every memory, every trauma, every daydream and fantasy that you've ever had or will have automatically. Once you have that foundation laid, we're going to teach you how to install in your own mind and body all the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people who you truly want to be like. So if there's somebody who has a talent that you would like to have in yourself, we'll show you how to install that. If there's a certain skill set or a certain level of awareness that you'd like to embody, we'll show you how to do that. If there's something you'd like to remove and replace with something else, we'll show you how to do that. This is called the Identity by Design system, and it forms one of the core transformation and alchemical processes for rapidly reprogramming your other than conscious mind in the shortest amount of time possible. In fact, the change work from this is so powerful, it literally takes anybody who can't even spell hypnosis into one of the most powerful hypnotists on the planet, able to hypnotize anyone, anytime, anywhere, for any reason, and make any change they want for any reason that they want. So I wanted to share that with you because, again, what I shared with you in the first part of today's webinar is just a tiny piece. And you see how powerful that is. When you start stacking these things, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. So that being said, let me go ahead and, you guys ready to figure out how to get access to that? Yes or yes? Okay. So without further ado, with your permission, I'd like to talk to you about the Mastering Your Mind, Reality Reprogramming, and Personal Transformation for Healing, Influence, and Success Home Study Course. This is a program that has proven to be one of the most powerful transformational silos that we've come across. And I created it by accident. It was one of those rare occasions where you're digging for gold and you strike platinum. It was just the course and the scope of the change work that this thing created was just off the hoof. Right. So it's all about, let me make this a little bit bigger so I can read it. It's all about manifesting wealth and abundance and aligning yourself with prosperity consciousness, attracting financial success effortlessly. It's all about mastering persuasion and influence to get the people to say yes without resistance using NLP type techniques. It's about learning how to transform your relationships, learning how to build deep emotional connections, improve communications, and attract the right people into your life. Okay. For those of you who have weed issues, we can show you how to deal with that too. It's all about creating and building inside of yourself unstoppable confidence and charisma to step into any room radiating a power and a magnetism and authority that is the envy of everyone that you meet. People want to be around you. They want to hang out with you. They want to be like you. Okay. We're going to teach you how to break free from things like fear and procrastination, how to program your mind to take massive action and achieve your biggest goals faster than you ever thought possible. Okay. The Mastering Your Mind system is all about creating rapid, powerful, lasting transformations. It's all about using the power of your unconscious mind and reprogramming all those things that you thought were outside of your control to give you more power, freedom, and choice over every aspect of your life. So without further ado, let me tell you what you're going to get as we go through this process. Okay. Now, everything I'm about to share with you is packaged together, and it expires tonight, January 30th, 2025. So let's go ahead and go through this. So first of all, you're going to get the Mastering Your Mind training program. This is going to be from our Secrets of Personality Transformation home study course. It's a 14 video set that will teach you step by step the 7-level identity by design process for controlling your mind, transforming your identity, and manifesting the person you want to be instead of the person that society, education, religion, politics, geography programmed you to be. It's all about restoring your own sense of personal freedom and choice and moving through the world, as my teacher liked to say, Lillian Bridges used to say, standing in the light of your truth. To move through the world embodying the very best version of yourself. To do that, we're going to teach you how to clear the unconsciously held negative emotions and beliefs you didn't even know you have. People have 2 kinds of body feelings. They also have 2 kinds of beliefs. They have feelings they're aware of, and they have feelings they're not aware of. You have beliefs you know about and beliefs you don't. We're going to show you strategically, systematically, how to find both sets of beliefs and unlock them and change them using pieces, the technology you saw at the beginning of tonight's webinar, but also all the other aspects of the identity by design system. You'll get the whole system in one complete package, no piecemeals, right? And what you'll discover as you go through that training is that each piece builds on the piece that went before in a synergistic, exponential way. And when you really go through the process, you'll be able to do the entire 7 stages anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances, for any reason, in less than 8 minutes. I promise you, if you apply the training, you do what we say, you'll be able to do that now, right? We'll teach you how to remove the unconscious safety rules that are keeping you stuck. We're going to teach you how to remove the negative voices in your head that hold you back. You know, the voices in your head that just said, what voice? Yeah, we're going to show you how to get rid of that. We're going to install the 4 pillars of personal power that automatically move you through the world from a default state of power and possibility and being unstoppable in any way that's important to you. We're going to sanitize the negativity from your past. So when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better. You're going to install that personal success template into your genetic memory. And then actually before you took on a body, so that it applies, it generalizes to every aspect of your life. You won't even need to think about it, right? It's going to be, and then we'll teach you how to install the traits, qualities, and characteristics of the people you admire. If you like my ability to do conversational hypnosis, you can install that, right? If you like Carolyn Meese's approach to energy healing or Donna Heaton's approach to energy healing, you can install that, right? If you are into Neville Goddard or Sherlock Holmes or Wolverine or whatever characters or pro athletes, whoever you want, you can install those qualities into yourself and add them to your existing skill sets and build on them. It's very, very powerful stuff. It's called deep trance identification, works exceedingly well for just about everything once you understand the process, which is very simple, right? We make everything easy for you. We're going to teach you the most powerful step-by-step system of personal transformation anybody's ever come up with. It's an integrative system that allows you to tap into the true magic and majesty, for lack of a better word, of your own autonomic nervous system. I'm really excited about this because I see the transformations every single day, and I'm excited for what it's going to do for you. Okay, so that being said, total value on this is $2,497. It comes with a complete manual. But we bundled in a whole bunch of other stuff for you. So not only are you going to get this amazing program, we've put some things together that will synergistically work with your identity by design training and allow you to expand the capabilities of your nervous system into every aspect of your life, whether you're into manifestation and law of attraction as an extension of neuroscience and quantum physics and quantum mechanics, or you're more interested in the more older approaches to working with quantum energy, mysticism like Taoism, Buddhism, Kabbalah, Qigong, Neigong. We'll show you how to bridge that gap into a core path that unites all of these things in a very systematic, provable, verifiable way. So let me show you what else we got for you. So we're going to include with this program the Hidden Laws of Attraction Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Program. Again, Hidden Laws of Attraction is a variation of our identity by design system, and it works very synergistically with the identity by design system. It's going to allow you to unlock the power of your subconscious mind to quickly manifest anything you want. And there are some things in here that I have been able to manifest some of the most patently impossible stuff you can imagine. In fact, if you want to learn more about that, after you get your package and you want to see what you're in for, there's a video on my YouTube channel called Funny Law of Attraction Stories. And it's just like 45 minutes to an hour of me just telling one manifestation story, an experience of me or my clients or my students after another, after another, after another. And if you follow that coursework, you're going to actually experience many of the things that the people in the room actually did in terms of being able to actually manifest and transform physical matter. You'll be able to test it right in your hand, right in your own home, right? You're going to become magnetic for money. We're going to teach you how to influence people both in person and remotely, starting with yourself, how to find and remove the hidden negativity and blocks to manifestation that you didn't even know were there, right? How to clear up those issues that just don't seem to go away. One of the things I've noticed is a lot of times we have a health problem or back pain or an injury. We go in and we see that the x-ray, the MRI, there's nothing there, right? But we still feel like crap. How does that work? Well, we're going to teach you how to find the reasons that your neurology is actually holding on to that pain or that suffering so you can give it something else to do instead. Okay? We're going to teach you one of the most powerful ways to use hypnotic language to program your own mind. We might actually play with this a little bit towards the end of tonight's webinar, but if you've done the work with the 4 questions, like what do I want to get rid of? What do I want instead? What might that be like, and what's important about? We might use one of these techniques so you can experience that. What I'm going to do is going to give you something that's very, very powerful, and doesn't necessarily rely on language, but you can use language. So I'm getting a lot of questions about the shadow self. The shadow self is just your negativity. It's just the crap you've accumulated, right? You can give it all the names you want. One of the things, if you notice that I have this little poster up here for unleashing the magic within. So let me talk about that really quick. For those of you who are interested in spirituality and psychic self-defense and psychic protection, things of that nature, that's the class that you want to go to, right? The way that negative entities, if you believe in them, find access to your system is through the negativity you've accumulated. So just going through this process of clearing your shit out will cause you to get taken off the menu for less than positive entities, and even people for that matter. You'll become much harder to influence in a negative or manipulative way. So as a byproduct of this training, you become harder and harder to influence because you're going to have more and more autonomy and control over your own life. Okay, we're going to teach you how to delete the negativity and vibrational imprints from your past, but we're also going to help you become aware of how the people around you are constantly imprinting you through your proprioceptive nervous system, through your cardiac nervous system, through your mirror neurons, and how all of that can be taken under your control very, very simply. In fact, all the things I just mentioned, the heart nervous system from like heartmath.org, and your proprioceptive nervous system and your mirror neurons, all of that was activated in the drill we did at the beginning of today's webinar. All right, like I said, I could spend 2 days going through the neuroscience and the studies and how this all comes together. And at the end of the day, it will still come down to point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it. What do you want instead? Okay. Again, you don't need to know how to build the car to drive the car, but you do need to know how the car is built if you want to improve the car, right? Or you need to find somebody who does know how to do it, right? So that's what this is about. This is about getting results quick, right? All right, so let's see here. I'll teach you the most powerful manifestation technology that I've ever come across, which is called image cycling. And I've tested a lot of stuff, and image cycling is still the fastest, easiest, most user-friendly way to safely manifest the things you want. All this is a value of $1,997, but there's more. If you grab your package today, you're also going to get these special bonuses, right? You're going to get the Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study course valued at $1,497. Now, Secrets of Personal Transformation is a personal alchemy program. In other words, it's going to teach you the Identity by Design silo in the context of doing this by yourself, on yourself. This program is about leveling up. It's about taking those skill sets and expanding them out into a professional setting. If you're a coach, a healer, an energy worker, a therapist, okay? This is where you learn how to take all of these techniques and apply them in the clinic for change work with other humans, to help them get over traumas and limiting beliefs, to remove the negativity they didn't even know they had, to remove the safety lessons so that the stuff they're coming to you for doesn't keep coming back, right? How to program into them the default driver states that automatically move you forward and lead you to success. Right? How to clean up the negativity that just keeps coming back, right? How to sanitize the negativity from their past and move all that energy into those positive memories, put them back in their timeline and make them bigger so that when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better, okay? It's also going to teach you, again, how to install things in people like different identities, different personality traits, different qualities and attributes, right? And then it also takes you into your first regression level training. Identity by Design, as far as the therapeutic track in our system, everything starts with Identity by Design. From there, you either go into Killer Influence or you go into real world trauma resolution, which has 2 schools of regression. You have vibrational regression and you have classical regression. We teach you both schools so that no matter what happens, you're ready. But your first classical regression technique is a technique called the gift, which is what you learn in this program. This program will teach you how to go back into the past to your most powerful, joyful, transformational, I'm having the best life ever moment, and give that younger version of yourself the gift of foreknowledge And what happens is when you go back and you give that youngest, happiest version of yourself all of this amazing information, it generalizes. Kind of like when you upgrade your operating system around all your existing software. It's really, really powerful, and it's safe, right? Because it's all about pleasure. Once again, the idea here is the more we can embody positive, powerful, joyful, pleasurable states, the more rapidly our whole body gets healthier, right? By a show of hands, really quick, how many of you would like to be as much as 30% or more better at everything? Anybody? How many of you would like to be at least 30% better at everything? Here's all you got to do. Do that drill we started with, the pleasure drill, because what guys like Chris Voss and other FBI hostage negotiators discovered was that when you move through the world embodying a sense of playful, let's see what happens, explorational, curious energy, you're up to 31% more aware. You're 31% more perceptive, more extrapolative, more integrative, and you're 31% more persuasive. You learn up to 31% faster. Now, that's just your benefits. How many people would like to have 30% or more people saying yes to them? In other words, if your closing rate now is 20%, what if you could boost it to 50%? Would that be helpful? All you've got to do is be fun, playful, and easygoing. That comes from the field of hostage negotiation, right? The only thing more stressful than hostage negotiation is an LA pickup bar or my IRS audit, okay? I'm teasing about the IRS audit. LA pickup bar is way more stressful. My point is, when you can move through the world embodying these amazingly powerful, pleasurable states, everything gets better faster. Even the heinous stuff. If you're a therapist that deals with high levels of trauma, and I've got a lot of students who do that, when you approach it from this fun, easygoing, playful way, you're just much better able to help the people in your chair, right? So for those of you who are professionals at this is something that I really, really, really recommend that you grab a hold of while you have the opportunity, right? It's a $1,497 value. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. So the total combined value on this is $2,994. I don't think that's right. No, that can't be right. I think there's an extra slide in here. Okay, hidden laws of attraction. So it's actually 5,491. There we go. Okay, so your next course is going to be real world conversational hypnosis. This is our Stealth CPI Universal Persuasion Protocol Level 1 training. One of the reasons that we include this training in the program is that it's one thing to have your inner game down, but you also need to take care of that skill set. Remember I said there's two reasons people don't take action. They don't want to, or they don't want to. The first reason they don't want to is they don't know how. They don't have the requisite skill sets necessary to move their life forward. This solves that problem, because no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're going, no matter who you're interacting with, you're going to need people to say yes to you. You're going to want people to believe in you, to trust you, to follow your lead, to comply with you, and want to help you. So this is the program that we give that allows you to express that inner magic powerfully in the real world. It's going to teach you how to hypnotize or mesmerize, for lack of a better word, anyone, anytime, anywhere, in an ethical, honest way. How to literally reach into their hearts and minds, find out what they most need and want, link it to what you offer, and show them in a very clear way that's obvious to them that you can get anything you want by doing by them doing what you want. It's the most powerful win-win system on the planet. It's going to teach you how to bond with people anytime, anywhere, under any circumstance, for any reason. How to create deep, powerful, lasting connections where people are just loyal to you, and it becomes nearly impossible for people to undersell you or underprice you. Right? People will find excuses for wanting to work with you or hang out or spend more time with you. It'll teach you how to systematically cause anything you want to mean anything you want in the minds of your listener, even if those things have absolutely nothing in common. It'll allow you to make anything you want seem to cause anything you want in the minds of yourself and your listener. So again, when you apply these things to your own mental programming, you'll find new and powerful ways to recruit the true power and potential of your nervous system to maximize your transformation in minimum time. And you'll be able to transfer that into other people to guide them and create powerful marketing materials, sales copy, things that really make people want to be with you and spend time with you and do the things that you want to do. You're going to find out as a byproduct of the training, people are going to say yes a whole lot more, say no a lot less, and you're going to feel really good about yourself, because every time you look in the mirror, you'll know that you're wielding the most powerful and ethical system of human influence on the planet. Okay, there's like 7 different language patterns that just control and influence every aspect of your nervous system. You learn how to use that in the context of influencing other people, but when you bring this training back into your identity by design and your reality reprogramming system, you're going to find that you can use them on yourself even more powerfully and effectively than you ever thought possible. It's a $1,950 value. We're going to bundle this with you free. Why? Because we want you to have the inner game and the outer game. When you bring them together, you get synergy. You get a whole that's greater than the sum of the parts. We're going to give this to you absolutely free. So total combined value on this is $7,441 if you register and you grab it before the end of the webinar. We're also going to include, let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever had like an epiphany moment? Like, you're going through the world and you have a belief about something, then all of a sudden somebody says like one word, and all of a sudden everything you thought changes spontaneously. How many of you ever had that experience? What if you had 14 different ways to create that experience in your own mind and in the minds of anyone you communicate with? On demand. What if you had that magical power to just instantly change someone's beliefs or overcome an objection or win any argument in seconds? Would that be useful? Because that's exactly what this program does. Renegade reframing, the art and science of rapid conversational belief change, how to overcome any objection or win any argument in 30 seconds, or sometimes less, depending on how long it takes you to actually finish speaking. Right? And we actually have a lot of fun with this. This is based on a very powerful set of NLP patterns known as sleight of mouth. But it's been very simplified and really revamped and revitalized to make you even more powerful and to actually allow you to learn to use it. We actually include a card game in this training program where you can literally play the reframe game, and you can do it for fake money, or you can do it for like just a drinking game or whatever. There's literally reframe cards included in the course where you just practice giving a limiting belief, objection, or argument, and then you throw a reframe card at the person, and they have to use that reframe to overcome that objection. And then if you're successful, then you get to challenge them. And it's just a good, fun way to just get your brain working like this. Right. And that's actually one of the things, if you've ever been one of those people who wish they could be faster on your feet thinking, that could just come out with something fun or smart or witty to say, this is one of the trainings that will really kind of give you the leg up in a fun, playful way. But it's also one of the ways that you can learn how to protect yourself. You see, one of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the webinar was this idea of killer influence, and the system that we've created was named the #1 NLP training in the world for the last 4 years. Well, there were 2 versions of that program that were named the #1. One was the original Killer Influence program. The other was called Defense Against the Dark Arts. Defense Against the Dark Arts was all about how to profile people who are predators, who are narcissistic, sociopathic, dark triadish type people, social predators, people who use persuasion as a way to take advantage of people. And one of the things we talked about, in fact, I'll be releasing a video from one of the very first trainings of that very, very shortly, was this art of conversational profiling. And in that particular video, we identified 21 different linguistic patterns and reframe techniques that predators use to avoid taking responsibility or blame for the things that they do. Armed with this particular set of tools, you can instantly turn the table on anyone who's trying to gaslight you, trying to future promise you, and just and get you to take the blame for anything. It's a very powerful skill set. We want you to have this because armed with this, you can turn any conversation to your advantage in an ethical way instantly, right? It allows you to step inside the minds of the people you're talking to, understand their perspective, and transform it from inside. It is easily one of the most powerful processes that we offer. And because everything about this particular package is about reprogramming your subconscious mind, the most important and powerful person that this can transform is you. In our weekly influence mastery coaching, we regularly have people list all their limiting beliefs on a piece of paper. And then we use these patterns to change those beliefs. And what they find out is when they go through these patterns and they use it on it, they can't go back to believing those things anymore. Your entire map of what's possible for you transforms in seconds. So this is really a game changer. This is a life-changing, super powerful program for influence and persuasion and for personal transformation. So I really encourage you, for no other reason, if you got this package for no other reason, grab it for this, right? Because it's going to protect you and it's going to help you just grow into the person you want to be. Total value on this is a $1,950 value. We're going to give it to you free. Why? Because we want you to have everything. We want you to have everything you need for anything you might encounter. We want you to be ready, right? You guys put your faith in me, you put your trust in me, and I want to repay that. So that's why we're doing this. So once again, let's look at everything in the package. You've got the Secrets of Personality Transformation Mind Control Mastery Program. It's the 14 video set plus the manual that teaches you the 7-stage identity by design process. It's a $2,497 value. You're going to get the real world hypnosis identity by design hypnotherapy home study program, valued at $1,497 value. You're going to get the hidden laws of attraction, mind magic, and manifestation masterclass, $1,497 value. You're also going to get the stealth CPI real world conversational hypnosis program and training. It's a $1,950 value. You're also going to get the Renegade reframing, how to overcome any belief or change any objection, overcome any objection in normal conversation in seconds, $1,950 value. Total value on this is $9,391. But we're not going to stop there, right? So today I want to give you an advantage. I want you to start your 2025 off with the best possible tools for taking advantage of this new transformation that's going throughout our country right now. And you're not going to have to pay $9,391. And you're not going to pay $5,347. If it were half price, or even a third of the price, $3,347, would it be a good deal for all the things I just talked about? If it were a third of the price, would that be good? Well, we're not going to stop there, obviously. Jody says, I need this. I've been asking for this, and here you are. Yes. In fact, recently I posted on Facebook, if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it, right? If I charged you $1,497 value, would that be okay, right? Well, obviously we're not going to do that. So for Chinese New Year, because we just literally celebrated it yesterday, Chinese New Year, you can get everything I talked about. The Master Your Mind Home Reality Reprogramming Home Study Course, Real World Hypnosis Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Certification. You're going to get the Hidden Laws of Attraction Mind Control Mastery Home Study Course. You're going to get the Real World Conversational Hypnosis Stealth CPI System and the Renegade Reframing Program, all for one low installment of just $797. Or if you need to, you can break that up into 3 easy installments of just $397 each. All you got to do to get yours is go to this link right here, www.nlppower.com/mind. So if my lovely assistants could go ahead and post those links in the chat, that would be super helpful, right? Why is that not moving? Okay. All right. So click that link right now, www.nlppower.com/mind. There we go. And for those of you who are on the fence, I want to be very upfront. You have absolutely zero risk with this program. Okay. Click that link right now, grab your course, right? And try it, test it, put it to work for a full 60 days. If the Hidden Laws of Attraction and the Master Your Mind Reality Reprogramming program does not work for you, then if you're not on the fast track to manifesting more money, finding the love you want, attracting more success, manifesting your dreams, feeling more secure, confident, and powerful, if you're not racking up more wins or more check marks in the win column than ever before, then you know what? Let Moss or Mia know, and we will refund every penny you've invested in this program, right? If you're not getting the results that we're talking about, and believe me, we're under talking about what this thing can do for you. If you're ready to take it to the next level, let us help you, right? Grab your course, click the link, test the program for a full 60 days. If on day 59, you're not on the fast track, if you're not scoring more, pick up the phone, shoot us an email. let us know, and we will happily refund every dime you've invested in this program. There's absolutely zero risk to this, okay? But are you worth it? Do you deserve it? Even if you don't deserve it, do you want to deserve it? Because we can fix that, right? But you got to do something different. You got to click those links if you want change, right? I don't know how much longer we'll be offering this particular package. Things are changing in Planet David, and sometimes these products go away for a very long time, right? Anybody who's ever seen my archive knows that I've probably got literally 20 years of stuff that's never seen the light of day. Not on our YouTube channel, not in our NLP Power Mastermind mentoring program, not in a product or service. The link will redirect you to a ClickFunnels page. Yes, that's the shopping cart that we used. Nancy said, if you're having problems clicking on the link, call Moss directly at 858-282-4663. Now, for those of you who are calling, because there's always a stampede of people calling Moss, if you get the voicemail, okay, if you get the voicemail, please, 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 leave your contact information, leave your name, your phone number, the date, and the time you called. Because what happens a lot of times is people get frustrated because they get a voicemail, they want to talk to a human. And so what happens is they call sometimes and they don't leave their contact information. And then they try to call back the next day. But because we didn't have your contact information, we don't know you acted on this offer right now, we can't give you the extras that are coming up very shortly. You don't qualify. So please, 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 if you do get the voicemail, leave your contact information. If you want faster turnaround, Mia is available through email. Email Mia at nlppower.com. She just posted that in the chat. If Moss isn't available by phone, Mia is there to help you through the email. And as long as we have you in the queue, you will qualify for everything. Again, my job is to make your life easier, but I can't I'm good at what I do. I'll be very upfront, talk to the people in the chat. I'm good at what I do, but I can't multiply zeros. If you don't take action, I can't take action, right? So please, if you're really serious in a fun, playful way of leveling up, click that link, try it for 60 days. If after 60 days, you're not getting the results, we'll give you all your money back, and you can keep any program you've downloaded as my way of saying thank you for giving us a shot. Let us help you. If you have sticking points throughout the training, just pick up the phone, shoot us an email. We'll walk you through it. We'll get you through those sticking points. And if that's not helping you, if it's not working for you, you still got the refund. You got nothing. You got absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? Go ahead and click that link right now. Now, for those of you who like more stuff, right? I've got some goodies for you. For those of you who click that link right now before I log off tonight's webinar, right? Now, everything I've talked to up to this point, including the 60-day, no questions asked refund, is good until 11:59 p.m. tonight. The next things I'm going to talk to you about, these fast action bonuses, if you will, are only available until I log off tonight's webinar. So everything I've talked about up to this point is good until January 30th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. After I log off, these bonuses that I'm going to talk about, they go away. So here's what you're going to get. For those of you who click this link right now, you're going to get a 3-month trial membership to the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. This is a program I've literally been running every month, month after month, for 14 years. We started in October of 2010. And the way it works is on the third Saturday of every month, we get together either in person or virtually or both. And I literally go around the room and I say, Clowny, what do you want to learn? Alana, what do you want to learn? Alex, what do you want to learn? Agnes, what do you want to learn? And I write your name on the board and what you want to learn next to it. And then when everybody's gone, I step back and I look at what you've asked to learn about. I find all the connecting threads. And for the next 4 to 6 hours, I drill you specifically on those skills until you can do them in your sleep, right? You will not get a certificate or a certification from the NLP Power Mastery Mentoring Program. What you will get is a community of people who want to support you, work with you, practice with you. You'll get feedback and interactive training and and insights from me, personalized drills and skills, and you'll have the ability to level up your skill sets, right? Which is the most important thing I can give you. It's one thing to hand you a video or to give you a manual or to do something in a video for you, right? But when you roll up your sleeves and you do the drills and you get the skills, that's what takes you from access to information. And access to information is really, really easy. Anybody can do that. You can find just about anything on the internet, but can you go from access to ownership? In other words, can you take the skills in the book or in the video? Can you embody them and use them? Because once you do that, you now have a power, an ability that will serve you anytime you choose to use it. Anytime you choose to use it, and no one can take it away from you. Up to that moment of ownership, it's just borrowed knowledge. The video goes away, you can't use it anymore, right? Matter of fact, most people who have the video can't use it because they don't do the reps. The Mastermind Mentoring Program was created specifically to fill the gap between theory and application, to give you an opportunity and a forum that you can actually do the drills and get the skills. Best part about this, aside from the community and everything else, is that we videotaped every single one of those trainings since October of 2010. We've created different archives. We're creating a master archive on a Kajabi site. And for the 3 months that you're part of the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, you'll have complete unfettered access to the 14 years of video content stored in our archive. Everything on just about anything that has to do with the mind, with therapy, with healing, with marketing, with influence, persuasion, dating, attraction, law of attraction, accelerated learning, you name it. If it's in my wheelhouse and people have asked for it, it's in this program. So again, we're working on really streamlining and making that user-friendly, but you get full 90-day access to it for 3 months. If at the end of 90 days, you've gotten the skill sets you need, you've binge watched the videos you want to binge, and you feel like you got what you need, no harm, no foul, you just move on. If after 90 days, you realize you found your new home, right? Then we'll show you how to extend your membership even further and even longer, and how to take your skills even further, right? Again, I'm very proud of the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. It has literally changed the lives of tens of thousands of people, directly or indirectly, all around the world. We've got students in 81 different countries. And I'm inviting you to join our family, join our club, right? So when you click that link, you're going to get a 3-month trial membership, unlimited access to the 14-year video archive. It's a $1,597 value. We're going to give this to you free, right? Total combined value so far is $10,078, but we're not done, okay? If you act now, you're also going to get one of our most popular courses. This is the Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course. This is a program I created many years ago that people absolutely loved because it allows you to download it now, and in 2 hours from now, you can be out in the world hypnotizing people anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances, for any reason. It comes with manuals, it comes with workbooks, it comes with ton of bonus videos on everything from instant and rapid inductions, the 7 most powerful hypnotic languages that exist, lie detection, manifestation. There's even a 3 or 4 video set of me teaching to a private group in somebody's home. I'm a little heavier then, so you might not recognize me, but it's me. I'm just like really, really big, right? It's a $997 value. It also comes with video and downloadable MP3s as well, so you'll be able to listen to it. I wouldn't recommend listening to it while you're driving because there's a lot of hypnosis that's going on those recordings. So make sure you're not operating equipment or heavy machinery. But for those of you who just want to be able to listen to it while you're on the treadmill or whatever, it's a great way to really accelerate your learning. It's a $997 value. We're going to throw this in absolutely free if you click that link before I log off tonight's webinar. How often does the practice group meet? It meets on the 3rd Saturday of every month, Gary, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. Now, on months where my training schedule conflicts with the mastermind, we push that month's mastermind to the following month, and then we do a double long mastermind. So instead of like 4 hour, 5 hours, you'll get like an 8 or 9 hour training. So you never lose, but we can get a longer training. And that's where we sometimes go really deep into some of the more powerful things, right? Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. We're going to give this to you absolutely free, $11,075. And finally, for those of you who maybe you don't want a certificate, you just want to feel better. You just want me to help you fix your crap for you, right? I find that my followers and my subscribers tend to fall into one of three categories. There are people who want help fixing their own stuff, right? And that's why I give you the webinar package, right? The personal transformation, Renegade reframing, hidden laws of attraction. That stuff is for you to help you begin to change yourself. Some people want to go out and change other people. They want to help other people using this material. And that's where real world hypnosis, identity by design, hypnotherapy, home study program comes in. But in the middle of that is another demographic. And these are people who they want to help themselves. That's true. They may or may not have a real sincere desire to go out and help others, although they often do. What they really want is a chance to work with me, for me to help them get fixed and fix the stuff that's important to them. And so a few months ago, last year, I think it was, we started launching these 3-day virtual healing personal transformation intensives. Now, the Secrets of Self-Transformation Virtual Healing Retreat is actually a misnomer. It's actually not self-transformation. It's David transformation. So let me explain that to you. This is a 3-day virtual healing intensive where you log in as part of a group, and I, for the next 3 days, guide you through exercise and process after process after process after process for systematically removing the blocks to your success, getting over your limiting beliefs, removing the fears and the phobias and the traumas that have been holding you back. It's literally like getting therapy with me as if you're in the clinic, but you're going through it as a group. And for 3 days, all I do is put you through exercise and drill after drill after drill after drill after drill, and you come out completely transformed, right? This is not something that you're ever going to see as a product, because each of these healing retreats or online intensives are basically HIPAA compliant. We are not going to release the information. All the information is kept private and confidential. All we do is allow people access to sign up for the next one. And that's what we're doing here. For those of you who click that link right now, we're going to give you a pre-VIP pass to our next online virtual healing intensive, February 7th through the 9th, 2025. That's literally next week. So we're going to teach you how to eliminate self-sabotage, how to remove physical and emotional pain, how to remove blocks and limiting beliefs, some you know about, some you didn't even know you were there, right? How to clear up the issues that just don't seem to come and go, or they go and they come back, right? And, resolve the negativity from your past, get in touch with your true self, find out what's really important to you and how you know you're getting it. You're going to come away with 3 very powerful techniques that you can apply to yourself anytime, anywhere. Julie Holmes says the intensive is awesome. She's been to a couple of these, right? This is something that, again, this is not this is not designed for you to go out and hang up a shingle and start healing others, although a lot of healers are coming to me because who takes care of the healers, right? I will, right? So this is my chance to kind of just cut loose on you guys and just do for you what I do for my clients in the clinic. You see, when I teach a certification class, I have to make sure that all of my students can replicate the techniques. I have to guarantee that they have a certain level of proficiency. When it's just you, me, and a small group of people, and I'm responsible for just healing and helping you, I don't have to worry about whether you can reproduce my technique. You get to just completely surrender to the process. I get to cut loose, and I can just whip out all the things that I would normally do in a session with people that would fly over the heads of most people, and you get the benefit of it, right? Connie Look says, invest in yourself is so worth it. Thank you, Connie, right? It's a $2,497 value. We're going to give this to you free if you click your links right now and reserve your spot, right? Again, remember, the last 3 things I just talked about, the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, the Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course, and the VIP ticket to the Virtual Healing Intensive, they're only available to the next 15 people who register and click that link now before I log off the webinar. The regular webinar package is going to be good until 11:59 p.m. tonight. But the bonuses I just talked about, when I leave, so do they. So when in doubt, click the link. If you have questions, call Moss, reach out to me, and make sure you give us your contact information, because that's the only way you're going to qualify for this. Okay. So total value on this is $13,572, but you're not going to have to pay $13,572. You're going to get the Secrets of Personality Transformation home study program valued at $2,497. You're going to get the Identity by Design Personal Hypnotherapy Certification track, $1,497. Hidden Laws of Attraction and Manifestation Mastery, $1,497. We're going to give those to you for free. Stealth CPI Instant Conversation or Conversation Hypnosis Training, $1,950. Renegade Reframing, valued at $1,950. We're going to give those at least to you free. The Stealth Instant Conversation Hypnosis Crash Course, of course, the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, and the Virtual Healing Intensive, February 7th through the 25th. February 7th through the 9th, 2025. It's been a long day, folks. Total value in this is $13,572. You get it all for just one installment of just $797. That's 200 bucks off our regular webinar specials when we offer them. So it's a really limited time. It's a Chinese New Year special. You can get the entire package for $797, or you can break that down into 3 easy installments of just $397 each. So we're going to take an 8-minute break. When we come back, we're going to start banging stuff off your bucket lists, and we're going to show you how to unlock the power inside your own mind and your own body. That's what I got. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I will see you at 6:14. Oh, yeah. Yes, Gary, if for some reason you can't make this virtual healing intensive, all you got to do is let Moss know. We'll move you on to the guest list for the next one. Okay? If for some reason you can't make it, just let us know. And by the way, if you've bought programs from us in the past and you see that program listed here, don't let that stop you from clicking the link. Click the link, call Moss, let him know you've got one of these programs, and we'll swap something of equal or lesser value for it so you can customize your own package. We'll see you in a few minutes, and we're going to start clearing stuff and taking names. Talk to you soon. Hey, y'all, I'm back. So while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and, all right. So we've got a few minutes. I got about 3 or 4 minutes, so I can take questions on stuff. Nancy says, I'm in. Congratulations, Nancy. Welcome. We love you. You're awesome. Okay, so Zach keeps asking me about the shadow self. Zach, what specifically do you mean by shadow self, and what do you want me to talk about? Cynthia says, hey, David. Hey, Jax. You guys like my background? How does it block you? It blocks you by generating negative feelings and emotions, which cause you to engage in behaviors that aren't in your best interest, that work against you. It also again, I don't know what your spiritual leanings are, what you think about in terms of entity work, but it's the dark side of you. First of all, it's not the evil side. More often than not, it's the hurt side of you. And so as you start to clean that stuff up and you heal that part of you, what remains of that is something you need to learn to integrate, because it's also your power. But the shadow self is that part of you that has accumulated a bunch of trauma. And as it starts to become more and more in pain, it will generate body feelings that cause you to respond in less than positive ways. And that's how other things, people included, manipulate you. In Defense Against the Dark Arts, we have a whole module on social predators and how they select victims. It's a laundry list of things that will put you on a predator's radar. All those would be considered aspects of your shadow self. So the idea is, as you clean those things up and you heal that part of yourself, it's no longer the bad guy responding from a place of pain or suffering or need. And you start to integrate it and become personally more powerful. You become fully spiritual and fully physical at the same time. David Orman says, where did you get your training in medical Qigong, and who did you met? I got my training in my doctorate in medical Qigong from Dr. Jerry Allen Johnson. He's the world's leading authority on medical Qigong. He has officially retired from teaching medical Qigong. Some of his students are trying to continue that lineage. So you might get to work with Sifu Diego or Sifu Chris. There's another gentleman who has a medical Qigong program. I can't speak to his program. His name is Richard Clear. He teaches a medical Qigong program as well. But I've never taken any of his Qigong classes, so I can't speak to it. I am of Jewish descent, Jolton. So let's see. Let's see here. How it blocks. Is that a part of you or part of, because when I do these two past life incarnations. Okay, so Zach, this is a conversation that will go way off the rails really quick, but let's just say that in each human being are multiple spirits. Okay, again, and depending on which model we're using, it can get very complicated. The bottom line is that there are levels of consciousness that can or seem to function as separate entities until we learn how to integrate them. And that is the process of alchemy in most traditions. Okay. So G. Wilson is asked, Dave, what technique can I use to weaken OCD over time? I know all of your identity by design stuff. Identity by design stuff will work. You just have to ask better questions. Beyond that, you want to go either into holonomic regression or classical regression. So real world trauma resolution, either as a practitioner or finding a practitioner to work with is probably going to be your best bet. If you need someone to work with you, call the office. We have a bunch of people that we refer to. If you can afford me, you can work with me personally. Moss is really good. There's a bunch of people in our network that we regularly refer to. My time is really expensive, but I am available. So just call the office, 858-282-4663, and we'll set up a consult for you and see if what we have is a fit for what you need. Right. Gary says, do you train people to be hypnotherapists? All the time, 3 or 4 times a year. In fact, we have a hypnotherapy certification coming up in March. So for those, you know what I'm going to do? For those of you who want certification, if you want, but you have to call for this, you have to click the link and commit today. If you click the link and you call Moss, I will let you trade the VIP ticket to the virtual healing intensive for the March training. Or if you want the virtual healing, we can work out some kind of a discounted rate for you to come to that certification. But you have to call Moss directly. I'm only going to say it once, right? Because I just got the download, right? If you for those of you who want certification, right, and you want the healing intensive, call Moss right now. If you're one of today's buyers, we'll give you a discounted rate on the Identity by Design program. Okay. Okay. So, what are the questions you got? Agnes says, "Sweet, I want certification." And before anybody asks, yes, you can take the Identity by Design program virtually. We don't encourage it. Namisha, the training for Identity by Design in this March is going to be here in San Diego at the Courtyard Marriott. That's where we're working on right now. Our intention is to keep it relatively small so that I can make sure everybody has the hands-on training that they need and so forth. So Agnes is saying, does this line up with the NDE reports? I'd love to know. Nightly, yes, Nightly, you did get the bonuses. I'm backtracking through the chats to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Prasad says, yes, David will heal the healers. Okay, let's see here. Indeed, near-death experience. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know what you're referring to. G. Wilson is saying, how about outcomes with CPI? Like, say you want to sell a car. Should your outcome be trying to get them to buy a car from the outset, or should you be trying to get them to test drive? So neither. If you're going to sell a car, the question isn't, how do I sell this car? The question is, what does this person in front of me really want to buy? What do they want to buy? Because I promise you, if you try to sell them something, you're going to work really hard and they're probably going to say no. But if you find out what kind of car they want to buy and you present that car to them and an opportunity to buy it, they'll come up with their own, all the objections to buying it will go out the window. Right? That's the secret behind our entire approach is human beings never, ever, 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 ever resist themselves. That's a core principle in all of our technology. And I say technology, it's borderline magic, but it's because everything human beings do, experience, create is facilitated through the auspices of the autonomic nervous system. And if you understand how that system creates and transforms, then you can, and you understand that programming language, then you can custom design your reality. Reality is not what you think, or maybe it is, right? David Everman is asking, do you have any courses for accelerated learning, such as language learning? You would start with the Identity by Design process. Once you have Identity by Design down, then we can look at other things that we can layer on top of that to accelerate learning. Identity by Design in and of itself will accelerate your learning. Okay. So again, everything that we do, there's 2 primary foundation courses to all the technologies that we teach. First one is Killer Influence, Secrets of Covert Hypnosis. The other is Identity by Design. If you have those 2 trainings, you have 99.999% of all the prerequisite foundation skill sets for everything else that we do. And the reason we keep coming back to those skill sets is because they allow you to facilitate and amplify everything else. Everything that you learn in Planet David is a force multiplier in conjunction with Identity by Design or Killer Influence, and vice versa, right? So for a lot of you want to get advanced covert hypnosis and NLP training, we have a program called NLP Ultra. We demand as much as possible that you have killer influence before you step into NLP Ultra, because it's going to take all the skills in NLP and killer influence and just go nuclear with them. What is a realistic change to use Magic Circle to get? Like, I remember you said you use it for learning. I use it for everything. Back when I was involved heavily in the dating and attraction, I would use it to create the identity I wanted to have in terms of my confidence with talking to members of the opposite sex, my sense of personal value and self-esteem, the glibness and the ability to pay attention to subtle body language cues. So I would do deep trance identification regularly with guys like Sherlock Holmes, Richard Bandler, Wolverine, Captain Jack Sparrow, Austin Powers, right? And all of those, if you, Mac, you can actually watch me do it. If you go to our YouTube channel and you type in Captain Jack the Hypnotist, you'll see me literally doing Magic Circle deep trance identification on somebody while I'm actually in the persona of Captain Jack the Hypnotist. You'll hear me talk like this and all that, right? You'll see me doing it, right? Because I did it so well, so long, I can just fall into it, right? And that's the whole point, is that when you go through this 7-stage transformational process, you get, not only do you start to change from the inside out very, very quickly, you have the ability to monitor the change and decide, I need more here, I need less here, and you can keep changing it. Jody says, I'm in full payment. Welcome aboard, Jody. Welcome, Gary, you're in. Excellent. Right. So again, the reason that I keep coming back to the identity by design system in one form or another is because there's so many layers to it. Like some of my advanced students, like my mega platinum coaching students and my vibrational influence students and my energy healing students, they came in to learn it as a hypnosis process. And by the time they got through it and they got to the more advanced level trainings, they saw, holy shit, you were doing way more than just hypnosis. You were preparing all these other things. I said, yeah, but you didn't come in to learn that. You came in to learn hypnosis. And when you were ready for the next level, you were ready for it, right? And so, okay. Oh, Agnes just joined our gold program. Thank you. All right. So you guys ready for more change work? You guys ready to kick some ass? All right. So these next couple processes, we're just gonna go right through it. I'm not gonna spend as much time explaining the how and why it works. We're just gonna do them. So if you want to learn all the hows and the whys and wherefores and all that, make sure you grab your package, right? Make sure you grab your program. It's all explained in there. And then when you use those VIP tickets, either for Identity by Design or for the virtual healing intensive, you'll get an in-person experience of what it's like, me personally guiding you through those, right? So just as a quick reminder, because this is how business is done, right? You're going to get the Secrets of Personality Transformation, Ultimate Mind Control Mastery home study course plus the manual. It's a $2,497 value. You're going to get Identity by Design, Hypnotherapy home study course. We're going to give that to you for free. You're going to get Hidden Laws of Attraction, Manifestation, and Mind Control training. We're going to give that to you for free. You're going to get the Stealth CPI Real World Conversation Hypnosis training. We're going to give that to you for free. Renegade Reframing, Overcoming Beliefs in Normal Conversation, Conversational Belief Change. We're going to give that to you for free. NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, the Stealth Instant Conversation Hypnosis course, Hypnosis Crash Course, and of course, the Virtual Healing Intensive, February 7th through the 9th. Now, remember, this is a VIP ticket. So if you can't make the February training, we have another one coming up, I think, in either April or May. I think it's May, actually. So if you want, we can move you to that training. And for those of you who click that link right now, if you call Moss and let him know you clicked the link, and you want to get your hypnosis certification, we'll give you a special discount rate, an early bird rate for the Identity by Design Hypnotherapy certification coming up in March. All right. That being said, let's go ahead and jump out. So you've got your list, yes? I'm going to stand for this because I do some of my best work standing. Now, you don't need to be standing, but I find a lot of times it's actually better because you have a stronger root. So we're going to go with that. So you have your list, yes? This is where you type in the chat, yes, I have my list. Okay. So I want you to look at the first, look at the charges. Like, find the lowest number on your list. So if you've got three things, each one of them numbered 0 to 10, what's the lowest number? Start with that one. Okay. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to remember that pleasure color that we used at the beginning of the webinar. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to remember that pleasure. Imagine a big ball of that energy floating above your head. Fill the room with it. Wrap it around you. Breathe it through your whole body and notice those wonderful feelings coming flooding back. And then I want you to do it again. I want you to create another ball, expand it to fill the room, wrap it around you, breathe it through your body, and just dissolve into it. And one last time, big ball of beautiful pleasure energy, fill the room with it, wrap it around you, breathe it through your body. Notice the feelings in your body intensifying, doubling, and tripling in size and strength, force, and magnitude. This is your resource energy. Anytime you want to, anytime you need to, and you have something that's really strong, really sharp, and you need something that will instantly dull or lower the intensity of it, you just remember that color, fill the room, wrap it around you, breathe it through the area of your body, and you'll notice an instant deceleration. This technique, by the way, is called resonant frequency generator. I'll say that 2 more times. Resonant frequency generator. Okay. One of the most fascinating things about the nervous system is that it processes the same data differently depending on which part of your brain you use. Agnes says, "Oh my God, whoa. Was that good or what?" As the T. Harv Eker would say, yes or yes. Okay, let me repeat what I just said. Not yes or yes. Your brain can process the same information in different ways, depending on which part of your brain you're using. When we manifest a trauma or a limiting belief or something we want, we're using specific parts of our brain in a specific order and sequence. I can create change by altering the sequence. I have no words besides yes, Agnes says. Okay, very good. So most of you should be feeling pretty good right now, right? Now, I recommend that the little energy ball breathing exercise you just did, you do that. This would be your daily practice. I would say you get up in the morning, you find a space where you will not be disturbed, you stand quietly, and you just do that 2 or 3 times. Just go into that dreamy place, bring that ball of energy up, expand it to fill the room, wrap it around you, breathe it through your body 2 or 3 times, and each time stronger than the time before, and just dissolve in it and just enjoy it. When you do this, you're going to create a very powerful cascade of electrical and chemical transformations in your body. Okay? Electricity and chemicals. As my friend Chase likes to say, all we are is electricity and chemicals. That's it, right? We don't even have to get into the woo, right? That's going to create a very different start to your day. But it's also going to stack and amplify the natural hypnagogic state you're in when you get up in the morning, but it's going to put you in a positive frame of mind. I found just doing this, a variation of this every morning, transformed the entire energy of my family when I got up. The bickering and the fighting and the snapping that my girls had just dropped by a factor of 100. Like literally from like 100 every single morning to like 5% maybe on a given basis. Just the energy that you step into when you get up in the morning will radiate out and impact people through their mirror neurons. Okay. I'm not talking about woo. I'm talking about science now. Okay. This will also, again, create a different type of hormonal situation in your body. Your reticular activating system will shift. And now your system is ready to learn. and change and be programmed better. Okay. What do you do next? Well, you've got this amazingly pleasurable, powerful feeling, right? Now you point to where you feel it the strongest, reach out and touch the picture, make the picture bigger, move it through your body. Make it bigger, move it through your body over and over again. In fact, let's do that. Go ahead and notice that wonderful feeling that you have. Notice the color. Imagine the frame that represents that experience. Wrap the frame in that color. As you wrap the frame in that color, I want you to grab it, lift it up over your head, expand it to fill the infinite universe, pass it through your entire being, head to toe, mind, body, and soul, over and over and over again. And notice what happens to your neurology, physiology, and psychology as you continue to do that. Keep doing that until it's impossible to turn off. When you know it's impossible to turn off, test it. Try to turn it off and notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, stop testing and type in the chat what you discovered, what you experienced. Jody says elation. Zach says it makes you feel like Superman. Anybody tingling? Electrical feelings? Heating, sweating? What you literally just did was a highly focused frequency vibrational electromagnetic phenomenon. Lucky says sweating. Colors changed. Excellent. Excellent. Cool. All right. Now, here's the interesting part. Every fantasy you have is built this way from this stuff. Every daydream that you have is built from this way and this stuff. Every belief that you have is built this way from this stuff. Every limiting belief that you have, every less than positive memory is built from this same mechanism. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to experience this. Again, we're going to do this in a bunch of different stages so you can understand. I'm actually giving you a little bit of a deeper training than I would normally give in a public webinar. So, but this would be something that I would actually be doing in the clinic. So I want you to focus on that first thing that you want to change. Okay. So look at your list of the 3 things you want to get rid of before you log off tonight. Find the one that has the lowest charge. Agnes says, I'm still catching my breath and returning to my senses. That was like instant trance. Yes, but it's a different kind of trance. It's a trance that's facilitated by absorption of all the different parts of your brain acting together, right? And your nervous system. It's a trance of synergy, not isolation, okay? Notice, look at your list. Notice the one thing you want to change. Notice where in your body you feel it and point to it. Close your eyes. Look at it with your inner eyes. Notice that there's a color or a series of colors connected to that feeling. What color or colors might that be for you? First impression. Now, just take a minute. Don't type it in the chat. Just jot down on the paper what color it is and where it is in your body. Okay. Now here's what I want you to do. When you've done that, type done in the chat. I'm sorry, I keep itching my there's a lot of allergies and stuff from the fires and stuff down here, so I keep itching my nose, and I'm sorry if I keep doing that. I'm not lying to you, I'm just itchy. Right. So Zach says done. Anybody else? Okay, good. All right. So here's what's going to happen. Let's go back to our pleasure color. Imagine a big ball of that energy floating above your head. Expand it to fill the room. Wrap it around you. But now, when you breathe it through your body, breathe your pleasure color through the icky color and notice what happens to it. Keep breathing that energy in an infinite, ever-expanding supply until it completely dissolves away or it changes as much as it's going to change. Both are perfectly acceptable results. When it's changed as much as it's going to change, type done in the chat. Susan says you could spin that, just saying. We're not spinning today, Susan. Okay, so by show of hands, or me in the chat, how many, when you breathed your pleasure color through the icky color, it went completely away? Okay, Zach says me. How does that work? The icky turned to a different color. Okay. Change from brown to blue. Okay. Try to go back to the old way of being and tell me what happens instead. How many noticed that when they braid the pleasure color through the icky color, if the area was like this big, it shrank? Okay. So there's 3 or 4 different things that can happen when you do this. This is what we call a blanket resource or a safety resource. A lot of times when you're doing change work, people can suddenly abreact, right? They can suddenly tap into an emotional pocket or an emotional reservoir that has a huge charge to it that they didn't expect, and it completely overwhelms them. So one of the things that we do clinically is we install this safety resource right at the beginning of the session, so that if they're going through their change work and all of a sudden they think it's Bambi and it turns into Godzilla, we wash the area with this resource color, and it immediately halts the abreaction and lowers it to a level that we can work with, right? The nice thing about resource colors or resources as our safety resources is that they're generic. They're not specific to a particular trauma or negative memory or limiting belief. They will work across the spectrum of all of them. They may not 100% resolve that energy container that has all that information in it, but it will take the edge off of it. So I'm giving you that as an extra, right? I wasn't going to teach that today, but this is something that we can always, like whenever we find ourselves in a situation that is overwhelming us, right? All we have to do is change our posture, change our breathing, go to our safety color, expand the room, wrap it around us, and breathe it through us, and our state will instantly change. All we have to do is remember to keep breathing and holding, and we can't go back to the bad state. Okay. You can use that out in the field. You can use that when you're overwhelmed with a client. You can teach it to your clients so that they can be in more of have more state control out in the field. Therapeutically, when we're working with clients, whenever we don't know what to do, or they're going into a very powerful abreaction, we just wash that area with this frequency or this energy that they created, and it cuts it in like half, which makes it instantly manageable, right? Which gives them the experience of realizing that they have absolute control over what their nervous system does. Now, sometimes that charge comes on so fast, people don't have time to think, right? They lose access to their volitional or cognitive state control. Okay. Now, when we want to do actual full-blown resolution, we have to have a more specific frequency, a more specific resource. And that's what the 4 questions on your sheet are designed to help you do. Okay. So the first question is, what do I want to change? The next question is, what do I want instead? Third question is, what might that be like? So go to the second. So for those of you who still have, how many of you still have something remaining from the first issue that we worked on? Just type it in the chat. It's okay. I expected you to have it. Okay. Well, you guys must be in trance. Okay. So point to where you feel it. Look at it on a scale of 0 to 10. Rate the intensity of that feeling. and notice the color connected to that feeling. What's the color? Don't type it in the chat. Just know it for yourself. What's the color? First impression. Okay. How young might you be when you first feel a feeling like that? Whatever comes up, just go with it. Don't analyze it. And as you think about that, what do you want instead? What do you want in place of this colored feeling that's, and trace the outline of it so you know how big it is. What do you want in place of this colored feeling that you're experiencing right now? Just don't type it in the chat. Just say it out loud so you know and you've declared what you want instead. When you've declared it, what you want instead, type done in the chat. Perfect. Now, here's the magic question. Can you imagine what that might be like? Can you imagine what that might be like? So whatever this is, there's something you wanted instead. Can you imagine what that might be like? Close your eyes. What might you see when you're having that experience? What might you hear? What might you smell? What might you taste? Because when you do that, when you're in that space and you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there is an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get. And I'd like you to notice that there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, notice where you feel that and point to it. And I'd like you to notice that there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings. Again, this is rhetorically speaking. What color or colors might that be for you, first impression? And whatever it is, I want you to do something for me. I want you to create, I call this your Steven Spielberg moment. I want you to make an alternate reality movie where you get to live and experience a world where that thing that you wanted instead is true for you. I want you to watch it. I want you to make it big, like a drive-in movie theater screen, crystal clear like an IMAX. Turn up the sounds, the smell, the taste, the feelings. Best moment ever. And when it's perfect in every way, I want you to watch that movie over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, but hundreds and thousands of times at the speed of thought. With each repetition, I want you to make it 10 times stronger, 100 times better, 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before, until it overwrites and replaces every experience you've ever had before. And then it just keeps getting better and better and better. And as you've noticed where that feeling grows, I want you to step into that movie and I want you to live it from beginning to middle to end over and over again. With each pass through that movie, feel that energy in your body in that new place beginning to grow from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and all points in between. And then it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger until it becomes so strong, so powerful, it begins to radiate from your body like the rays of the sun, forming a beautiful colored frame around that new reality that you've created. And when you're ready to own it, to personify it, to embody it completely, I want you to reach out with both of your hands. Grab that frame and the reality inside of it, lift it up over your head, expand it to fill the infinite universe, pass it through your entire being, head to toe, mind, body, soul, over and over and over again. And notice what happens to that colored, icky feeling that used to be in your body, and keep passing it through your body until every part of your being is vibrating in complete and total harmony and synchronization with this new reality you've created. And when you've got that, and you know every part of you is vibrating in perfect harmony with that new reality, test it. Try to bring the old feeling back. Try to turn the new feelings off. Notice what happens instead. And when you're satisfied, and only when you're satisfied. Stop testing. Notice how different you feel, and type your experiences in the chat. Tell me what you discovered. Tell me what happened to you. Agnes says, oh my God, that old feeling is non-existent now. Wow. Yay, buddy. Can it really be that fast? Zach says the issue is gone. It's been replaced by the new reality. Try to go back to the old reality and notice what happens instead. You can't. Huh. Jody says, I had a hard, sharp knot in my chest and it's gone. All that from some dude in a vest having you wave your hands around? Or maybe there's more going on. Folks, from the bottom of my heart, with all the truth and honesty that I have to give, this is just the beginning. There's a whole universe of magic inside of you. And it's your birthright. You're allowed to use it. You're allowed to have it. So Agnes says, I have no idea what that was, even after all these years, but it was inexplicably and probably TMI too. Anyway, Clowny says, my inner child is so happy. The dude in the vest was there with me. Nancy says, I love magic. Me too. That's how I see all of you, by the way, in case you didn't know. Every time I see one of you walk into a room, I see magic incarnate. Mies Living says, I am a billionaire trader. You're on your way, if not there already. Okay. All right. So how many things are left on your list? Jody says, love you, love the work we're doing. There's a whole lot more. 2. All right. You guys ready? Okay. Look at the second thing on your list. Close your eyes. Point to where you feel it. On a scale of 0 to 10, rate the intensity of the feeling. Notice there's a color connected to that feeling. What's that color first impression? Once you have the color, trace the outline of it with both of your hands so you know how big it is. How young might you be when you first feel a feeling like that? Where might you be? Most importantly, what do you want instead? What do you want instead? Take a moment and think about it. First impression. Whatever comes up first is almost always the right answer, even if it sounds lame to your conscious mind. What do you want instead? Now, here's the next question. Can you imagine what that might be like? It's time for another Steven Spielberg moment. I want you to close your eyes all the way down and imagine that amazing experience of what you want instead. What might you be seeing when you're in that place? What might you be hearing? What might you be tasting? Because when you do that, when you're in that place and you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get. A feeling that lets you know you're truly safe and you're truly getting what you want instead. And I'd like you to notice, I'd like you to become aware that there's a place in your body where those amazing new feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, notice where you feel that and point to it. And notice there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings. What color or colors might that be for you, first impression? Now I want you to turn that picture into a giant movie and watch it from beginning to middle to end over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, but hundreds and thousands of times at the speed of thought. With each repetition, I want you to make it 10 times stronger, 100 times more powerful, 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before, until it overwrites and replaces every experience you've ever had before. And then it just keeps getting stronger and stronger until it becomes so strong, so powerful, It begins to radiate, radiate, radiate from your body like the rays of the sun, forming a beautiful colored frame around that new reality that you've created. When you're ready to own it, to personify it, to embody it completely, I want you to reach out with both of your hands, grab that frame and the reality inside of it, lift it up over your head, expand it to fill the infinite universe, pass it through your entire being, head to toe, mind, body, soul, spirit, over and over and over again. And notice what happens to that less than positive feeling that had a certain shape and a certain location in your body. And keep passing it through your entire being until it's completely gone, impossible to come back. So every part of your being is vibrating in complete and total harmony with that new reality that you've created. And when you know it's gone, impossible to come back, every part of you in perfect harmony, embodying this new reality, all I want you to do is test it. Try to go back to the old reality. Try to turn the new feelings off and notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, stop testing. Give me a report. Tell me what's happening. Notice how good you feel. What just happened? Zach says the old reality is gone. How long do you have that reality? Since birth? Huh. Can change really be that quick? Yeah. When you have the username and password, right? Change doesn't have to be slow. It doesn't even have to be painful. Sometimes it is because you got to let shit go. Ash says that felt very good. My new reality was camping by a gorgeous lake with friends. I feel way more relaxed now. Excellent. Francesca says this one went even better. It feels good. Feel happy and clear. Very cool. All right. So for those of you that are on the fence, we have one more trick. Well, it's not a trick, but so once again, last call. Clowny says my inner child is happy and safe. Yay. So once again, this is your last chance for this. This is the last call. So the Mastering Your Mind Home Study Program, Secrets of Personality Transformation, $24.97, Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Course, Hidden Laws of Attraction, Stealth CPI, Renegade Reframing, NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, and of course the Stealth Instant Conversation Hypnosis Crash Course. And if you liked what we're doing, imagine 3 days of stuff like this, only getting more powerful and more deeper for an entire 3 days. Okay. Virtual Healing Intensive, February 7th through the 9th, 2025. First 15 people only. Total value on this package is $13,572. You can get it all for just one installment of $797 or 3 easy installments of $397 each. All you got to do is click the links, www.nlppower.com/mind. Oops. Can we get the links for the folks who are on the... And I guess there was some problems with the links or something. And again, if you're one of our buyers tonight and you want to attend our hypnotherapy certification in March, let Moss know, and we will be happy to give you a special price and, tuition for that training. Okay. Yeah. Free SPM. I don't know what an SPM is, but that's all right. Okay, so before we put the cherry on the sundae, what questions do you have that I can answer for you? Nobody has questions? You guys are smart. My karate instructor back in the day, he would end every class with, anybody have questions? And everybody would just look at him with that stupid look and he'd go, boy, you guys are smart. Zach says, how do you restrain yourself from not helping everyone you see? Well, the sobering fact, my friends, is that not everybody is ready for change. As much as I know the technologies that we have can help everyone, not everybody's ready for them. That's a pretty big claim, by the way. But I haven't found many people that this stuff didn't at least put a, or many things that this stuff didn't at least put a dent in. Like I said, you don't need to believe it to use it, but you do have to want it. And one of the things you'll discover, especially if you're a professional change worker, is not all the people who say they want change really want it. A lot of people are so identified with their issues that they're not out to prove, they're out to prove they can't be helped. And so a lot of our work in Planet David, both professionally as coaches and healers and therapists, even in students, is to figure out who's really ready, right? One of the things that happens with all the people who go through our energy trainings or our manifestation trainings or spiritual empowerment trainings or healers trainings is they want to take these skills out and they just want to shower everybody. And they find out really, really quick that half the people you meet don't want it. Half of the half that actually want it don't believe in it. And you progressively whittle down the population of people who are actually ready for it to change. And that's why I keep putting these things out there for all of you is, I can make it, I can shorten the curve, but I can't eliminate it. That's up to you. You guys have to raise your hands and decide you want difference. You want something to change. The results you produce in your life are not going to change until you do something different and stick with it. Right? So I make it as easy as I can, but at the end of the day, you guys got to level up. You guys got to decide I'm ready, And so let me see here. So Kelly's asking, how do I attract love? Okay, Kelly, go through the identity by design silo, clean up your stuff, specifically focus on the gray room, transformational triad, temporal editing, and then go into hidden laws of attraction and focus on the image cycling training. Those things will help you to manifest what the kind of person that you want after you've cleared the traumas. Okay. We had some very, very powerful results with the identity by design silo on lots of types of different traumas. I've seen nerves literally come back online that were dead for years. It's bizarre, right? Lucia's asking, my ex was like that. Okay, there's a conversation going on here. Okay. Identity by design. So Eduardo is saying, hold on a second, I got to read some questions here. Yeah, it's one of the most painful things to watch is knowing you can help someone and they just won't let you. And you have to respect that. You have to honor that. That's one of the hardest things, that's why I say most hypnotists fail because they don't test, and most hypnotists don't test because they're afraid to fail. Well, one of the things we're always testing is, does this person really want the change they're claiming? Right? That's 80% of my 30-minute consultation is making sure the person in the room is actually there because they want to do the work. The work doesn't have to be super hard, but it will be intense, right? We can do a lot of changes very, very quickly, but you got to be willing to walk the path, right? Peter says, what about psychosomatic illnesses like diabetes? As far as I'm concerned, it's all psychosomatic illness. right? Certainly certain things like where organs are dead, like, type 1 diabetes, something like that, we might have to do other things. But the vast majority, in my experience, and all the science is showing us this, the vast majority of chronic illness is rooted in emotional toxicity. It's memory based. And so you go in and you clean up that stuff, and you relieve the repressed emotion from the system, and you reframe and reprocess the experience. The system automatically moves towards health because those resources aren't being overloaded or taken up by other things, right? Yeah, type 1. Again, it might be genetic, and we can probably do something. We won't know until we do a consult with you and figure out where we need to go. I won't claim to be able to cure it, but we can probably put a dent in it. So if you want us to work with you on that, we're happy to do that. If you want us to provide you with access to the trainings that allow you to do that stuff on your own, we can do that too. It's really up to you how you want to approach it. Bhagwan is asking the best book to learn hypnosis. Probably the best one for most people to start with is Hypnotherapy by Dave Ellman. Hypnotherapy by Dave Ellman. Okay, so that's about all the questions I have time for. I'm going to leave you with, we're going to do one more change process. So look at the last thing on your list. What is it you want to get rid of? Look at the next thing on your list. What do I want instead? Next question is, what might that be like? Close your eyes. Think of the thing you want to get rid of. Notice where in your body you feel it and point to it. Notice there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those feelings. What color or colors might that be for you, first impression? On a scale of 0 to 10, rate the intensity of those feelings. Now take both of your fingers, trace the outline of that color with both of your hands so you know how big it is. How young might you be when you first feel a feeling like that? Where might you be when you first feel a feeling like that? And most importantly, what is it you want instead? If God could reach down, wave the cosmic do-over button, give you the universal reset mechanism that would allow you to transform that experience and recreate reality into exactly what would make you the happiest, most joyful, most healthy character on the planet by that changing that one experience and the things connected to it. What might that be like? What might you see when you're in that place? What might you hear? What might you smell? What might you taste? I call this your Steven Spielberg moment. And make that experience, make that alternate reality movie big as a drive-in movie theater screen. Crystal clear like an IMAX. Turn up the sounds, the smells, the tastes, the feelings. Best life ever. And when it's perfect in every way, I want you to step into it. And I want you to live it first person. Not once, not twice, but over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, but hundreds and thousands of times at the speed of thought. With each repetition, I want you to make it 10 times stronger, 100 times better, 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before, until it overwrites and replaces everything you've ever experienced before. And then it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I want you to notice there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, notice where you feel it and point to it, and notice how each pass through that movie, that energy, that color inside of you begins to grow, begins to double in size and strength, to double in force and magnitude, begins to grow and expand to fill your entire being, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and all points in between. And then it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until it becomes so strong, so powerful, begins to radiate from your body like the rays of the sun, forming a beautiful colored frame around that new reality that you've created. And when you're ready to own it, to personify it, to embody it completely, reach out with both of your hands, grab that frame and the reality inside of it, lift it up over your head, expand it to fill the infinite universe, pass it through your entire being, head to toe, mind, body, soul, spirit, over and over and over again. And notice what happens to that icky, naggy, less than positive colored feeling that's in your body. And keep passing that new energy through your body until it's completely dissolved away. And every part of your being is vibrating in perfect harmony with this newer, more powerful reality that you've created. Keep going over and over and over again until it's impossible for it to go back the way it was. When you know you've got it, it's locked in, impossible to go back to the way it was, test it. Try to bring the old feeling back. Try to turn the new feeling off. And notice what happens instead. And when you're satisfied, stop testing. Scan your body. Notice how different you feel. And give me a report. Tell me what's happening. Agnes says, what did you just do? I need this skill. Come to the training. We'll show you. Cynthia says, my head, heart, and gut were not, or Jody says, my head, heart, and gut were not in sync, and now they are. Boom. Cynthia says, much better. Thank you. Is this helpful? Is it useful? All right. All I ask is if you know you want more, if you're ready for more, click those links, grab your package, and let's get on the other side of this and level up. Okay. Any last questions before I turn you guys loose on the world? No? You guys are by the way, you guys just did a lot of processing. Mies Living says powerful stuff. Wow. Yes and yes. All right. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple of self-care things. The changes you just triggered are very fast. They're also very deep. They're very powerful, and they're pervasive. They keep going. So over the next few days, you may notice feelings and emotions coming up. Let them. As they come up, they come out. As you feel them, you reveal them. As you reveal them, you heal them. Solve, dissolved, resolve from the body. Solve, dissolved, resolve from the mind for all the right reasons. Drink lots and lots of water. Your body's going to start to detox. Okay? If you need a little boost, change your posture, change your breathing, bring your happy color or your pleasure color up, fill the room with it, wrap it around you, and just dissolve into it. Evan, the best thing you can do is pretend. So Evan is asking what to do when you struggle to find a memory or emotion to start with. Big struggle for me. That's actually a common thing, especially when you're part of a group exercise. What you'll find out is as soon as we log off, all these memories will pop up out of nowhere that you couldn't access because you were on the spot. Take a moment when those come up, write them on a piece of paper. Write them on a piece of paper and then go back and watch the replay. And as we're guiding you through these steps, just refer to your list. Okay? That's actually many people have that stutter deer in the headlights kind of effect when they're doing a group process because we just aren't used to accessing quickly. It's not a big deal. Okay. Okay. Lots and lots of water. All right. Well, once again, when I log off, the fast action bonuses go away. When would now be a good time to click those links I put in your chat for you? All right. In the words of the immortal Carol Burnett, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Good night, my friends. I sincerely hope you got value from tonight. Please like and share this video. Click those links. Let's change the world one person at a time, starting with you. Good night. God bless.